down in the dirt.
Hey, how you doing, pal? You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right. How are you? Good to see you.
Yeah, all good, man. All good, all good. I am recording straight away, Tim, but we can
Awesome.
start whenever you like. It's just
I'll
so
try
I don't
not-
forget, because
I'll
I've
try
done
not
that
to
before.
swear immediately then.
Oh, mate, you can swear all you like. It's fine. It's fine. You're the
Yeah,
one
I'm
that'll go to hell, not me, you know.
I'm already going to hell. Let me just mute everything on here. Hang on.
No worries.
I know I've got a WhatsApp open in a tab somewhere, and it's just going to go
Bing,
constantly.
bing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. How are you doing anyway?
Yeah, all good, man. All good. Thank you. Yeah. Just a bit of a different doing the podcast during the day. Normally having a beer.
Sorry.
And,
yeah,
no,
well,
mate, no dramas. No
that's
dramas.
the problem. I've got, if we did it at 9 o'clock, I'd still be halfway through bedtime for my 4-year-old.
Of course. No problem at all.
It's no, we can talk about that, balancing being a YouTube knob with having to have a life and trying to be a slightly present parent. But
Yeah. I mean, I can only imagine. I mean, my son's now 27, almost 28, and it's just me and my missus here. And, you know, even then I struggled just to find time to
but is he paying back for
with
everything
her?
that you did for him?
No, is he buggering? Is he buggering?
I thought it was a loan. I thought that nursery bills, all of that.
No.
I thought that came back to you.
No, he lives on a remote island off the coast of Skye.
Oh God, amazing! What's he do out there?
Oh, he's like an odd job man. There's one hotel on this island. It's called Rassie, the island, and there's like an adventure outward bound type centre attached to this big main hotel there. So he works there and he does everything from, like, you know, chambermaid doing the rooms right through to odd job man. God, you name it. And at the moment over the winter, because the tourist season's dead there, he's labouring at the distillery where they're like growing the distillery, because obviously distilleries is a thing at the moment. So he's doing all that. But he was an editor. He was a professional video editor for like 8 years, straight from school, and just decided. But at the same time, I left the old bill. He decided, and COVID, he just sort of went, you know what? I've done this corporate thing, and I'm bored. I want something else.
I feel that.
Disappeared off to an island. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think, isn't that the dream? To get away from everything, to get away from media, from social media, from the world going to hell in a handcart.
Oh, it's weird. Are you all right? We just crack on.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we've got straight into it, I think, from the off. So
we should talk about motorbikes at some point. But
yeah, at some point. The amount of times I get like 2 hours into a podcast and it's like, we've not even chatted about why you're here. Yeah.
No, but I think, go on.
It's funny old times, isn't it? It really is funny old times. I've been real conscious. I had a little break off this podcast. So this is about the 4th one back, I think. Yeah. And everyone is feeling the same at the moment. Everyone is just hacked off and sort of a little bit despondent about how things are. It's
bleak,
a weird time.
Isn't it? It is bleak. And the fact that all this stuff's happening internationally, we seem to be living in a world run by billionaire paedophiles, and apparently that's okay. And it's all come up in winter when we can't escape on our motorbikes to get away from it all.
Yeah.
It's just
but part of me just goes, I kind of think it's always been like this. It's just that we've got instant access to it and you get bombarded by it. I'm not saying it's right. Don't get me wrong. No. It's 100% not right the way things are.
You're not saying you're in the files, are you?
Yeah. It doesn't mention me in the files.
No, it's fine.
So,
and being mentioned in the files doesn't imply that you did anything wrong, according to Sky News and the BBC.
Yeah.
It's like,
okay, I know. They're all shitting it now, aren't they?
So why is it all blacked out there?
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, that's enough politics.
Yeah, sorry. Straight into
Tim Rodie, welcome to Bru Time. What an opener.
Thank you for having me. It's an absolute pleasure to be here.
No, my pleasure, man. There's been loads of people asking to get you on, and we've never met in person. So thanks very much for coming on for a chat.
No, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you for everyone that said come on. I've had loads of people over the past couple of years saying, you should go and get on this. I'm like, I'm not big time. No one knows who I am. But yeah, it's nice to finally be here. Hang on.
No problems.
Had a flat
folks at home, this is a daytime podcast, this one, so the beers are tucked away in the fridge. Slange, cheers to your health.
And I got about 3 hours sleep last night because I'm getting a cold, so apologies if I look and sound rougher than usual. But
no dramas. Are you a big sleeper then?
Yeah. I love sleep. I'm a morning person, but it's just honestly, it's one of life's greatest pleasures. And I think as you get older, you just want it more and more, don't you? And I'm a big fan of like a 4 o'clock granny nap. Don't tell my boss, but it's just, I don't know. Life is tough. I do a lot of stuff with my days. I kind of, I've got 2 YouTube channels. I've got a full-time day job, which is also partly running a YouTube channel. And I'm trying to bring up 2 young girls who are kind of 4 and 7. And I'm stay-at-home dad 3 days a week, basically. So,
wow.
Yeah, like finding time to do everything and grow a YouTube channel is, I feel like I'm used to it now. But occasionally my mum comes around to help the kids. And she's like, you are burning the candle at both ends. I'm like, yeah, thanks, mum. I do look rough, don't I?
It's difficult, isn't it? I find with this whole, I hate the word, but we are in the influencer life. It's hard because I know, because you've just got to hustle. You know what I mean? You have to hustle constantly, and if you don't, you just get lost. Like I've tried not to get hooked up on the algorithm and don't post. Just don't post for the sake of posting. You just disappear off the ether. It feels, especially at the moment. So you kind of just have to chuck stuff out, and it's like
I try to be detached from the numbers, and if I have a good month, great. If I don't, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I'm never going to do YouTube as a full-time job. And I've seen too many people do it. Some fairly big names in the motorbike YouTube game who I've spoken to over the years. I'm like, do you enjoy going full-time? And they've said, no, I'm responsible for 3 other people's income because I've had to employ people to make it work. I can't stop. I can't get off this ride. And this is my life now. And I think at some point, you started this because motorbikes is the thing you love that gets you out of bed in the morning. And it very quickly becomes, oh God, what have I got to ride and talk about this week in the sleet and snow outside, which, don't get me wrong, is like a lovely problem to have. But I think there's definitely an element of truth in your hobby becoming your job. And there are pros and cons to that, I think.
Yeah. No matter how much you love it, once it becomes your job, it's a job. So you have days when you really can't be arsed doing your job.
Oh,
sounds
100%.
ridiculous. There's people out there doing real work and digging holes. But,
yeah, I have to say, I did, I went back to my old secondary school a couple of weeks ago to do a careers fair thing where you're sat in the big hall and there's a bunch of adults and me at different tables with their job in front of them. So I was technically a journalist. And then there was a proper journalist next to me who works for the BBC and does proper stuff. And then there are insurance brokers, quantity surveyors, insurance salesmen, double glazing people, like all these proper jobs. And then basically the kids come to you in like groups of 5 or 6. And this is year 11 and year 12s. And I'm like, I asked them, what have you just been to listen to? And they said, oh yeah, I've just been listening to financial advisors, being a financial advisor. I'm like, is that your burning passion as a 16-year-old? Is that you're going to spend the rest of your life selling insurance, selling whatever. There was a really nice lady there who was, she worked in private equity and, she was dolled up to the nines, looked very rich. It was great. And this kid's like, yeah, might go into private equity. I'm like, is that what you dreamed of as a 12-year-old? Is that what you think you want to spend the rest of your life doing? 5/7 of your life is spent toiling away, working. Don't make it bloody miserable. And, this is not private school, but I went to grammar school. We just have to pass an 11 plus, and I was suddenly the dumbest person in my school. And these kids are like, oh yeah, my dad says I should go and work in the city like he does. And I'm like, no, do the opposite of what your parents tell you. What's happening? Like, you don't want to be miserable when you're 35 and you got to wake up and the most exciting thing is what you're going to have for lunch while you're going to London on the train in your suit and tie. Don't get me wrong, those jobs are valuable and fair play if you enjoy that sort of thing. But I always wanted to be a journalist. And I found those, those careers advice interviews you do when you're like 13 and it tells you can be an astronaut or like, I don't know, a Reform Party catamite and Nigel Farage's buggery boy or something. But mine said...
Politics.
But mine said I want to be a journalist. And I always wanted to write magazines back with, people printed stuff on dead trees and made money out of it, which you can't do anymore. But I wanted to be a computer games journalist. I've always been a massive gamer and that was what I wanted to do. And I grew up, I got into cars and I wanted to become a motoring journalist. But I just think I was very fortunate knowing that that's what I wanted to do. And you just had to bend with the times, got into video, and now I do very low rent videos on YouTube. But yeah, it's an odd one. I'd much rather be doing what I'm doing now than a much higher paid, higher stress job where your job is really to make someone else much richer.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
And you're right. I mean, the stress, the pressure that's put on you as a kid. I remember those years, sort of like 13 onwards. It's like, right, what are you going to do with your life?
Yeah.
I'm still watching fucking He-Man on the TV. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. And
exactly.
at that age, my dad was in the oil industry. So it was like, well, I'll go into the oil. Where I lived up in the northeast of Scotland, you either went into the fishing industry.
Yeah.
So they were minted. You know, these people had no qualifications. They went off in the fish boats and earned an absolute. They were the Bitcoin people of my era, like where I'm
These
from.
tiny
They
Scottish
earned
towns full of
a
Lamborghinis.
fortune. Yeah.
Ridiculous
money.
the fishing.
Like, they were earning stupid, and it was all cash as well. And then, or you went into the oil, in which case you earned ridiculous money.
Yeah.
Or you became a farmer, and they were all minted, but kept it all quiet. You know?
That's a nice
millionaires,
massive
but living in
there.
little hovels. And yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it's only got worse. Like they've got to like, even like the kind of 15-year-olds like, oh, I need to start volunteering somewhere because I get UCAS points for volunteering. And I'm like, it's like, I think the most I ever did was pack old ladies' bags in M&S for a day for like D&V or something like that. But now it's just, there's so much pressure from so early on. This is the kids who are being funneled towards university, which I wouldn't recommend my children go and do that. I want to become electricians or something like that, do an apprenticeship and not have 120 grand's worth of debt for an English degree.
But this is the benefit of life experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you know, part of me thinks, well, maybe you just have to go down that path, because who is lucky enough to know exactly? I know you said you want to be a journalist right from early days.
Yeah.
But who actually knows what they want to do at a young age? Not that many people. And in your 20s, it totally changes, doesn't it? And you get into your 30s, and all right, okay, what is it I'm actually going to do? Maybe you just maybe that's just the path. Keep talking about paths on this podcast, but maybe that's just the path you have to take.
I think you just have to go through life letting enough of the universe's matter bounce off you until you've worked out what it is you want to do. And that just takes time, doesn't it, really? I asked my 4-year-old what she wants to do, and she wants to be a unicorn trainer, so she's got another thing coming. It's like, it might be the national animal of Scotland, but it's not real.
Don't say that. You can't say that. You'll upset a lot of different people.
Sorry,
you can't say that.
They're out there in the glen somewhere.
We need all the audience we can get. Right, okay, so we've sorted a bit of religion, we've sorted politics, the education system. Okay, so, Tim, you got a YouTube channel, you're a journalist.
Yes, supposedly. I don't know. Right, so I started my career getting my foot in the door of any sort of journalism that I could possibly do. My first journalism job was helping write the Butlins holiday brochures.
You know what I'm going to say? Heidi High.
Heidi High. Yeah, and also that adult weekend magazine for those things. I got to interview lots of washed up pop stars.
You must have done them. Tell me you've done some adult Butlins weekends.
I did them as a member of staff doing photo shoots of people in fancy dress getting their cocks out halfway through the photo shoot.
Carnage.
And my editor is a very fierce Glaswegian lady called Donna who used to work under Piers Morgan, and Piers Morgan made her cry, and I couldn't imagine her ever crying. And she would just be like, put that away. That's not impressive. Put it away. So these guys getting their cocks out, their tutus or whatever. So that was eye-opening. And then I slowly kind of maneuvered my career towards automotive. I went and worked up at Volkswagen Group in Milton Keynes, where I had to wear a suit and tie for 2 years. And that got me nice company cars and also gave me an appreciation. I don't want to ever work for a corporate life because I'm just not suited to it. I'm too rebellious, and I think I'm too much of a free spirit to sit there and looking around the office at people who've been there for 25 years. And I'm like, what do you do? Oh, well, I run a report every Monday. Okay. And that gets you out of bed. Fine. There are people like that. That's perfectly valid. And then I left there to go and work at a startup that no one had heard of at the time called Carwow. I was employee number 7. And everyone was like, why are you going to work for a startup? That's not going to amount to anything. And now that's an absolute behemoth. That was before the YouTube channel. I was there kind of when we set up the YouTube channel, and then for 2 years afterwards. And then I left there to go and work for a company called Drive Tribe, which was another startup, slightly ill-fated automotive social media platform funded and owned by Clarkson Hammond and May from Top Gear, and Andy Willman, the producer, and a bunch of other investors. And that was one of the best jobs I've ever had. And we kind of ran that into the ground until it ran out of money. And now my day job, I'm the head of content for Motorpoint, which is a big used car dealer group. I run a team of automotive journalists there. And they run their YouTube channel, present for their YouTube channel, and manage a team of journalists writing car reviews and like SEO content, all that stuff. So it's good, honest work. And on the side, I've got a car YouTube channel of my own called Tim Rodie Drive Stuff, and Tim Rodie Rides Motorbikes, which is obviously a motorbike YouTube channel. I started those in 2020. When I was at Drive Tribe, the CEO was this slightly mad but nice man called Jonathan, who said, "Tim, you're not going to be flying anywhere for a year and a half," because I used to kind of fly away to drive cars every week, somewhere nice and warm, and then say bad things about them. Why don't you start your own YouTube channel? So I did. So I started Car One, Motorbike One, because I had these cars coming to my house every week as a car journalist. You know, have an Audi RS6 one week, you might have a Kia Sportage next week. And you'd be writing about them, I'd be photographing them. So I've always been a massive photography nerd, big camera nerd. And I've always kind of wanted to do something creative. So I started a YouTube channel. But again, it kind of goes back to school, because back at school, we had kind of student websites that we wrote for, which were mostly, they got banned for abusing the teachers. But I just loved making people laugh with writing. It sounds quite up myself, but just quite like entertaining people by writing funny blog posts. And then I kind of did that at university, and then that always stayed in my writing. I just love entertaining people more than perhaps the factual side of things. So when I kind of started my YouTube channel, I'm like, well, for cars, you look at all the other car journalists who have been forced to stand in front of a camera because that's the way the media landscape is going. And they're about as interesting as watching, paint dry on your grandma's butt cheeks. I'm like, well, they're getting the facts across. I can do that in my sleep. I can talk about boot space and whatever. But if I can make people laugh, then maybe they'll watch the video, and I'll cut out all the irrelevant nonsense about a Nissan Qashqai's on the limit handling around a Formula One circuit or something like that. So and the world doesn't need to know about that. So I kind of carried that across into cars, and then motorbikes I kind of started on the side. Bikes has obviously always been my passion. Cars is sort of the day job. Like, cars do get exciting, but only occasionally when there's like, oh, there's a nice Porsche outside or something like that. But even then, these days, you can't enjoy them on the road, whereas a motorbike you can, or off-road.
You don't get lumpy over a Ford Mondeo. What's going on? We're different generations.
We probably look back now. Ford Mondeo has not been on sale for about 5 years, but I bet if we went and drove one from 15 years ago, we'd be like, it feels quite a lot nicer than modern cars, because modern cars have actually got worse, whereas motorbikes have kept getting better, I think, and certainly more accessible in terms of the electronics helping you enjoy them. Whereas all the modern electronics in cars are designed to stop you speeding and to stop you being distracted, while ironically distracting you because you're trying to mess about the entertainment system to turn off the speed limit warning bong that goes off when you go 1 mile an hour over the speed limit, and then it flashes at you to say you're not looking at the road. It's like, no, I'm not looking at the road because I'm looking at this bloody screen and it's just the car world has gone mad. Whereas on a motorbike, motorbikes can't bong. That's why they're brilliant. You wouldn't hear it if it bonged because you're doing 120 mile an hour down the bypass, whatever. And you're not going to hear that.
On a closed bypass, obviously. Closed bypass.
Yeah, a German bypass.
Obviously.
I once had a German bypass. I had too much sausage, but yes. It's and
that is a different channel.
That is a different channel, yeah. Tim Rodie eats meat. So... Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but yes, I have 2 YouTube channels.
Oh, wow. Right, the first thing that popped into my brain, and I was competing with it the whole way through that, was you had websites at school.
Yeah.
I was my first year at uni when the internet happened.
Wow.
When a lecturer said, you can email this through. And everyone in the class was like,
how?
What's an email? And we had to go and get set up with emails and stuff. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, no, I was definitely one of the most tech-savvy kids in my peers, because my dad was a teacher, and he was a woodwork teacher, and every summer holidays he'd bring home the school computer to our house, which was like an Acorn Archimedes or a BBC Micro or something. So we were the first house on our street to have the internet. It had like 33.6k modem, and I used to play Counter-Strike online and get pissed off when my mum picked up the phone to call her sister and it kicked me out of my game. And I'm like, Mother, I had a really good KD ratio. So yeah, no, we had like blogs. I guess it's like year 8, 9. This would have been like 1999, 1998, something like that.
Jesus, I'd graduated by then. Bloody hell.
Far cleverer kids than me at school who knew how to set up a website, and I just logged in and wrote stuff in my section. And then, they got fairly abusive about the school and the teachers, and there was almost certainly some libel, as you can imagine, some swatty 13-year-old all boys school thing they know best.
Yeah.
And the teachers were logging on saying, I don't think I have had sexual relationships with a platypus, actually. I think we should turn this website off. So yes, that's how it started. Thank you, school.
I should have asked this right at the start. How long do you have? Because that will let me judge.
No. I can go for another 2 hours if you want.
Excellent. Well, Rossi's...
I've seen the length of your podcast. I'm bloody hell, 3.5 hours. I don't know if I've got 3.5 hours in me. On this
Mossy was on for 7.5, and we did 2 sittings of 7.5 and 5 odd hours. So
that is mad. No,
yeah, you've got something to beat that. Right. So what brought the passion for like the automotive side of things? You've gone from working in the entertainment sector at Butlins to what sort of lit the fire and pushed you into automotive journalism? So this podcast is powered by Conqueror's Motorcycle Apparel, a biker's clothing shop built by bikers, run by bikers, for people who actually ride. No corporate nonsense, no guessing games, just riders who know their kit inside and out. Walk through the door or jump online and you'll get nothing but 5-star service. The kind where someone actually listens, knows the gear, and won't flog you rubbish just to make a sale. For an independent shop, the range punches well above its weight: helmets, riding gear, casual wear, and the bits you didn't know you needed until a proper biker pointed them out. And if you're shopping online, here's the kicker: use Fisters10, yes, Fisters10, at checkout for 10% off, because good gear should come with a bit of respect. Conqueror's Motorcycle Apparel, built by bikers, backing bikers. You can check out the website at conquerorsapparel.co.uk, or if you're down near St Leonard's on the south coast of England, pop along to the shop, stick your head in and say hello.
I'd always been around cars and been around bikes. My dad gave up bikes when he had my brother in the early 80s and then me in the mid 80s. And then I think he got to that age that I think all parents who have been forced to give up their motorbikes get to. When their kids are about 8 or 9, they probably think, if I did die, they would remember me now. So you go and get another bike.
Quite so like the rest.
Yeah, exactly. So my dad, I must have been about 8 or 9, he went and bought what he thought was a really cool bike at the time. He's going to hate me for saying this. He bought a Yamaha Virago. Like the Yamaha cruiser thing in like maroon red. It's like...
Did he have tassels off the handlebars?
He didn't, but he did fit like a big high American police bike screen to it. It's very much the tenor lady of motorbike. And he just went and got, I took me out the back of that, I think, and I thought, this is all right. But then as we grew up, he got some more interesting bikes. He did fall off them quite a lot. He had a Trophy 1200. And then when I was at uni, when I was still at secondary school, he got a loaner. So he always had Triumphs after the Yamaha. And he had this Sprint RS, 955 Sprint RS as a courtesy bike. And it was the first time, I remember that was the first time I was suddenly really interested in motorbikes, because he said, come into the garage, look what I've got. It's bright orange, I think it was. And I think he had the TOR, the Triumph off-road pipe on it. And he started it up. And I wasn't really that aware of different engines and things like that. But this was probably the first triple I'd ever heard. And he was revving it in the garage. I'm like, sounds amazing. Get me some of that. And then that was it. From there, I had posters of Rocket 3s on my walls when they came out at university. And he took me out in the back of his Sprint ST 1050, where I came home from university one year. And, he had the Triumph off-road pipe on that, the triple underseat exhaust. It was silver. I think he probably fell off it a few times as well. But I just remember he came around to my mum's house in Essex, took me out on it, and he did an accidental power wheelie on the road down to Dunmow, because he wasn't used to having like a 20-year-old student on the back. And I just thought, I've got to do this. I've absolutely got to do this. But up to that point, I'd also loved cars. We used to go to rounds of the British Touring Car Championship, motor shows when they were a thing in London. The opening of the Gumball, and that came about through computer games almost certainly. Playing your Project Gotham Racings on the Xbox 360 and Jaguar E-Type Challenge on the Acorn Archimedes and things like that. So computer games probably played a huge part in the car side of things. And then my dad is fully responsible for all the motorbike nonsense I do now. So thank you, Dad. But I think that's the same story for lots of people who get into biking. Is it's either a rebellion against their parents who say, no, you can't bloody have a motorbike, or it's just carrying on the lineage of, God, I don't really want to go on the back of Dad's bike anymore. He's a bit crazy. I'm going to do it myself. I said, yeah. Sorry to say noise in the background. I've got rats in a cage over there. They are pets. I've got, pet rats. We're down to 2 now. The vets describe them quite generously as morbidly obese. They're like cats. They eat M&S food every night. They're very well. They get leftovers. Don't ask. They could probably eat a cat if they could. They probably can't move very fast now because they drag their guts along. But there we are, pet rats.
You sound like you live one hell of a life, Tim.
It's busy.
At home with the roadies. There you go.
The roadies and the rats.
Right, so you said you worked for Drive Tribe. You did some time at actual Top Gear as well, didn't you? Before Drive Tribe, is that right?
I never worked at Top Gear. That did get written somewhere. I don't know who wrote that, but no, I never worked at Top Gear. But Drive Tribe was, as I said, run by Clarkson, Hammond and May. So didn't really get to see much of Clarkson. Whenever there was a monthly board meeting, he would come into the office via a back entrance because we were in the middle of London. He just got mobbed. You couldn't go anywhere outside with the 3 of them. This was kind of 2018, 2019. So the Grand Tour was kicking off. And spent quite a lot of time with May, filming bits and bobs with May. We would go to his big underground garage and where he's got his Alpine and his Ferrari. And at the time, I think he had about 30 or 40 various old motorbikes and some new ones as well. He got to the point where he lost track of how many motorbikes he has. So I haven't spoken to him for a few years. I think he's got rid of a lot of them now because he just wasn't using them. But we'd be filming kind of YouTube videos with him and in between shots, he'd be lighting one up and we would just start talking about motorbikes or the Second World War, which are 2 of my favorite topics. And we were just very much like kindred spirits. Just chatting about his old bikes and like what was the best piston engine fighter of the Second World War. And people are like, look, we're trying to film something here. Can you stop talking about that? So,
time is money, gentlemen.
Exactly. So I used to run a little very rough podcast, the Drive Tribe podcast, and we got him on that. It was just me in my bedroom and him talking for an hour and a half. He came on with the caveat that we didn't talk about cars, which was great. Suits me down to the ground. So we talked about motorbikes and Messerschmitt 163 rocket-propelled fighters and things like that.
Awesome.
Filming him kind of really gave me the kind of kick up the arse I needed to start doing video of my own, because he was my childhood hero without a shadow of a doubt. Watching classic Top Gear in my days at university, I just always wanted to do that job. And I'd never had the confidence, always been slightly anxious, slightly nervous about going in front of the camera. And I just saw him do it. And I was behind the camera. I'm like, what, filming James May, and all he is doing is being himself. And that was it. That was it. It's like you watch Hammond, and he actually puts on a bit of a slightly happier, bubblier TV presenter thing, which May just doesn't do. May is just as he comes, and that's I think why people love him so much. So I just thought I'm just going to be myself. Like, sod it. We'll see how it goes. And it's gone all right. It's a lot easier to do that rather than, oh my God, it's 8 a.m. I've got to go film a motorbike review or a car review and be like, hello, welcome to this is like this. Like, fucking hell, let's get this over with.
Yeah. It's weird because that's what they used to say to you. Like, even like the YouTube gurus, they all used to say that. Ham it up. Like way back, sort of 2014, 15 sort of time. They were always saying, you've got to be energized because no one's going to want to sit. But I mean, that couldn't be further from the truth now. People want real. They just want real. Be you.
Yeah, people want authenticity. And I think people aren't stupid. Like, they know if you're they know if you're faking it. And I think there's a lot of, that's an interesting topic actually, authenticity, because I think in the world of influencers who are slightly, they're not journalists, they're not being critical. They're sometimes scared to be critical. They're sometimes being paid to not be critical. I think there's a lot of, not misinformation, but I worry about the younger audiences out there who are just they're not on YouTube, they're on TikTok. They're being fed streams and streams of people being gushing about everything, whether it's motorbikes, whether it's air fryers, whether it's home insurance, I don't know, whatever. I'm just scared that these younger people coming through, just like 16, 17, 18-year-olds, are just going to be blind to the fact that these people aren't being critical. They aren't being open and honest. They're being paid to say these things. And actually, I asked some of the kids at the school I went to the other day about this, my old school, and they actually said, yeah, no, we don't really like influencers because they're just saying the same, everything's great. And I'm like, yes, thank you. I'm pleased, but I am worried. There's younger people out there who aren't aware, like in the car industry, perhaps like more than the motorbike industry, you see people being paid by manufacturers to review their products or to unveil their products. And
really?
And then, yeah. And then a couple of weeks later, same person is on the press launch of said car or motorbike, I guess. And it's like, you're going to trust their review? They've literally just been paid by that manufacturer to unveil that. And I'm talking about some really big names in the car industry as well. So it's just like, how, are people seeing through this? Or is it just me being a grumpy old wazzock sitting here thinking, this rubs me up wrong? And in the car industry, it's like Chinese brands that are doing this as well. Trying to gain market share. And I often wonder, it's like, when that person's review comes out, just be aware that 3 months ago they were paid to do all this wonderful stuff saying how great this new car or bike is. And now they're trying to review it. I don't know. I find that
it's totally wrong, isn't it? It shouldn't be like that. I'd heard from a couple of people within the bike industry a couple of years ago, maybe start of COVID, just at the start of COVID, they were saying, "Oh, how much do you charge for a review of such and such?" And I was like, "I don't charge to review something." Like, what do you mean? And they were like, "Oh, such and such charges this and that." And I was like, and I've got to say, back then it was a couple of female influencers who thankfully aren't particularly big anymore, but they were coming into the scene and sort of exploding. And they were charging, like, even bike reviews. And I'm like, how can I'd never heard of any manufacturers paying anyone in the bike industry. And I was like, is this true? And I never got to the bottom of it. I still don't know if it's true or not. But
I kind of feel like that is still a thing. I've seen and heard things. I certainly know there are people out there who are not necessarily reviewing bikes, but certainly charging manufacturers per Instagram post. A couple of grand to do some kind of bougie Instagram post about a bike or a car. And it's never tagged as a paid partnership, is it? It's never. It's never.
And they probably bought the blooming followers and the likes as well. There's a lot of that going 100%.
on. I mean, you look at the engagement.
People's channels just exploding. You're like, where the fuck's all this come from?
And like, there's a lot like in the car world. There are certain like car YouTube channels who have suddenly shot up to loads of subscribers, and they're suddenly being invited left, right, and centre to everything, which is fine. They have a problem with that. But you look at their views, and it's not commensurate with how many subscribers they have. But try not to get too tormented with that.
That's the problem.
I live my own life and just do my own thing, but it certainly goes on. And I just hope people are aware. I'm certainly, I get wound up when I see people on Reddit or wherever say, "Oh, you can't trust any car review. That journalist was flown to the south of Spain to ride that motorbike or drive a car, whatever. You can't trust anything they say." No, like professional journalists, that is how the game works. Yes, you get flown business class to Spain to drive a car. Yes, you get put up in a 5-star hotel. Yes, the food is lovely, but it's just how it works. You are still critical, and like that flight, that hotel has absolutely no bearing on your review because it's just the way it's always been. And PRs on the other side of the fence, if they're working for a car manufacturer, a bike manufacturer, they know if their car's a bit rubbish. They know if their bike's a bit rubbish. They know what's going to be fair comment. Yeah, you can't the flip side is just slagging something off with no good reason coming from a place of malice, and it just sounds like you're having a terrible day. No, fair and balanced criticism is where it's at, but no, it makes no difference like whether someone flew me there or if I'm in a little chef on like the M25 in the pissing rain, my opinion will be the same. And that's the same for everyone that's come from a proper journalistic background and grown up under an experienced mentor and editor, whether that's at MCN or wherever. I don't care. They don't care if you're like sleeping in a ditch under a tarpaulin, as long as you get to ride the bike. Maybe that's less true for the young'uns and the kind of more influencery people who are like, oh my God, this is great fun. I get to fly to Spain and I don't not say anything bad about the bike or I won't get invited again. I don't think that's true. There are certain car brands that get pissy if you say bad things. But whatever, they're fairly minor and you shouldn't really worry about that. But it's just having that integrity to be able to say what you genuinely feel about something that I think is sometimes, you know, there are lots of new YouTubers who are very good at it. Like username Kate, she is amazing, absolutely smashing it. But then there are some people you see on TikTok and Instagram who are just like, yes, it's the best thing ever. I'm like, I hated that bike. I thought it was a dog. Not that there were that many bad bikes, but...
As always, a huge shout out to all of you over in the clan, over on Patreon, patreon.com/TeapotOne. I keep saying this, folks, but literally I could not do this without your support. The YouTube millions certainly are avoiding me. So with people like you over in the clan, my tours, this podcast, merch, everything like that, that's what allows me to keep a roof over our heads. And we've built a pretty special little community there in the clan. We do rides throughout the year. We do some live streams. There's meetups. Check it out. Patreon.com/TeapotOne. See if it's your thing. You also get early access to my chicken strips tours and you get first preference for the questions in this podcast. So thank you very much to all of you that get involved there. As always, if you're enjoying the podcast, tell a mate. Just tell them about it, share it, liking, subscribing, commenting, whether it's on the socials, the YouTube vids, or on the podcast platform, wherever it is that you listen. That really does have such a positive impact now on the algorithms and all these different platforms. That is what they respond to. So if you're enjoying it, please just engage, give us a comment, a like, a share. Let people know about Bru Time. Right, enough of that. Let's crack on with the chat. Yeah. I mean,
ramble.
No, because it's stuff that stuff that pisses me off about this whole sort of niche as well, and it's rich coming from me. But I look at some people that are reviewing bikes, and I'm like, what qualifies you other than, well, I suppose you're a rider, but then that's exactly, I'm no different. I'm just somebody that rides a bike. So it's like, it's just, you kind of, what am I trying to say? Yeah, I think it was probably a jealousy thing on my part initially because, you know, I was in and I'd established myself in the this sort of YouTube world. I don't do the bike launches and all that sort of malarkey, but I had my YouTube channel and then all these other people start doing it. Around, you know, there was like a little core group of us that were doing it back in like 14, 15, 16, 17 sort of time. And then loads of other people started doing it. And you're like, oh, who are you? We're like, what qualifies you to do this? And it's like the exact same thing that qualifies you to do it.
Exactly. And to be honest,
ride a bike.
Like, I think the thing that sets us apart slightly is that by dint of that, we have now ridden pretty much everything. So we have can put every bike in context, but at the end of the day, we have to try and realize that every bike is right for someone, not right for other people. I'm just trying to give that context. I can't remember where I was going with that either, but no, certainly I say no to most bike launches now because it takes so much time out of the week. I have to take annual leave from work. I'd rather ride the bike in the UK because I think it's a bit more realistic anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
There are some exceptions, like I'm going on the launch of the new Tenere 700 World Raid because I bought a Tenere with my own money last year.
That's your baby, isn't it? That is your
it is become a bit of my baby, but it's also like I realise I look at who else is going and it's like, oh my God, it's Lil Pavey, it's Al Fagan, it's Chris Northover, it's all these like people who can ride and really ride, and I'm nowhere near that level, certainly off road. But I think Yamaha wants me there because I'm a normal bloke that occasionally mostly goes off-road on my T7. And, I'm not very good off-road, but I'm a normal person doing that sort of stuff. Same, like I went on the R7 launch years ago and I was chatting to Jeff Yam. I'm like, are you sure? Like, I've not really done a track launch in my life. I've done track days and stuff, and it's like, well, this bike is aimed at people like you. So go and give it a go. And it was blinding. I thought I was having a great time. And then Fagan or whoever comes past on the back wheel. And it's like, cool. You're my hero. You always have been, and it's amazing to be.
It's your brother, isn't it? Is he not your older brother?
Yeah, I get that occasion. I'm just Poundland Al Fagan, bald man with beard in motorbike industry. No, I love Al. Although I just saw his 44 Teeth review of the Trident 800 yesterday, and he says he's caffeine intolerant now, so you can't have caffeine anymore. So, I mean,
really?
I don't drink tea or coffee, but I live on this stuff. I don't know. I looked up caffeine intolerance, and apparently you just start feeling dizzy and ill whenever you have caffeine when you're in your mid 40s, and suddenly you go to the doctor, and that's it.
That's kind of how I feel every morning.
Yeah.
You're saying you're a morning person. I hate mornings. Like it's 10, 11 o'clock before I start coming to. I hate mornings.
At university, I would sit there. I'd leave an essay till the last day, and I would write it between like 7 and 8, 7 and 9 in the morning. I just have these intense bursts of productivity that I can't summon later in the day. Whereas I can do a day's work in 2 hours and be hyper productive, and spend the rest of the day being like, might play guitar for a bit.
I'm the total opposite. Like 9 o'clock at night, I can. My office. This is just like a garden cabin at the bottom of the garden. Yeah. So 9 o'clock at night, my wife's gone to bed. I can just come back down to the office here, and I can sit and I can work till 3, 4 in the morning sometimes.
Wow!
And I'll get shed loads of work done.
Yeah.
And I don't need much sleep, so I'll get a couple of hours kip, and then I've got to take my wife to the station for 6 in the morning, and then I sit there till like 9 before I take the dog out for a walk. I've just sat for 3 hours going, I fucking hate mornings. I hate everyone in this planet. Just leave me alone.
How did that work?
I've tried.
How'd that work?
I've tried
when you're
longer sleeping. When you're a copper. Yeah, I mean, proper up at 4 in the morning, and we used to do 12-hour shifts. So, but I've just never needed much sleep. And when you're a copper, you hate everybody anyway. Like, you just develop a real. It's not hatred; it's a disdain. You just dislike people. Yeah, you just dislike people.
Is that just having to work for the general public, or is that the other coppers?
Yeah, you do tend to find anyone that's done any sort of public service type job, whether that's working in the shop or like public services, anyone that's done that job knows that feeling.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I think when I was a kid, my first job when I was 16 was working in WH Smith's. In the entertainment department, we used to sell these things called CDs and DVDs.
I remember them coming in.
Yeah, Betamax or Laserdisc. I used to have to go and sort out the CD charts every Sunday morning and kind of move them all around. And working with the general public as a young person is such a valuable experience, I think. Just meeting people from different walks of life who aren't your schoolmates, who are, maybe need a bit of help, or maybe who are intensely annoying, or who are maybe stealing half the stock from your shop to pay for drugs. I was so useful. And then when I came back from uni, I did a Christmas temp job at M&S in the menswear department. And it was suddenly like, this is a different slice of the general public. I literally had to wear a dinner jacket. I got dipped to wear a dinner jacket the entire Christmas period to show it off, to model it. And I had kind of old ladies come to my till, literally saying, "Oh, you should take my daughter out for a date."
Yeah.
Like, wow, okay. I didn't realize this is like the Epstein files with the M&S chumps with it. But yeah, I just think it's so valuable to meet the general public and realize that as you grow up, we will all be sharing this world, and you eventually forget about the other people that aren't in your friendship circles. But you realize that you live in a bubble, and that there are many, many different people out in this world who think very differently to you. And you only realize that when it comes to voting for certain things. And it's like, oh my God, really? Okay, fine. I guess me and my little social circle, my little bubble, are completely different to everyone else. But yeah.
And that's kind of why I like bikes so much, I think, is because, cars might be the same. I don't know what the car world's like, but in the bike world, like, especially with me on my tours, you get people from every walk of life, like different religions, different blooming races, different political persuasions. People turn up, and when you're out on a bike, you're just riding a bike. Yeah. It's only once you get off the bike and, after a few beers, that politics and religion might come up in conversation. But I just find in my environments on the tours, people are very tolerant. Maybe it's because you're only around each other for a week or so people will tolerate it. But it seems to be quite an inclusive environment for my tours anyway.
I think biking is just an excellent social shorthand, isn't it? If you go to a room of people you don't know and you find out one of them rides motorbike, you always hug them, don't you? So we can be
friends. Like an affinity, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like instantly, no matter what kind of bike they have, no matter what they ride, or whether they've ridden in the past and don't anymore, you can just chat about them. I had a car delivered last week, just a Kia, and the delivery driver who's bringing it to your house phones you up an hour before and says, "Oh, blah blah blah, I'll be there in an hour." This guy phoned me up, and he sounded quite elderly, and he's like, "Oh, would you be able to give me a lift back to the train station?" Which I always do anyway, out of courtesy. And he's like, "I've just got a real groin strain at the moment." Okay, TMI. Put the phone down. That's my friend. I think I've got possibly the oldest delivery driver come to my house. He's falling apart a bit. The guy came round, and he was a bit younger than I thought, not much. And then he's like, "Oh, is that your bike outside the house, mate?" "Yes." He's like, "Oh, I've got an '08 Fireblade pre-ABS for track days, and I've got this and that." And I'm like, "Cool,
beautiful."
He's like, "I can't ride it because of the groin strain. And I've had like 5 R1s and all the rest of it." And then suddenly
that's why he's got a groin strain. He's been sat on them for 20 years.
Riding R1s through winter. And it's just an instant camaraderie, isn't it? Which is amazing. I think my only slight reticence is I've never massively liked riding with strangers. And I think in the early days of my biking career, I would meet up with people from the Piston Heads forums or wherever to go for a ride. And instantly I felt uncomfortable, whether they were going too fast, too slow, doing things I would never do, breaking some of my own personal rules, like people crossing solid whites and me just going, giving me an aneurysm and things like that. I just never really liked it. So it takes me a while to warm up to riding with other people. And then you go on a motorbike press launch and you're all going out in a line and everyone's just pulling wheelies out of the hotel. And I'm like, I wish I could do that.
yeah, absolutely. I'm still like that. God, I've done about 2 or 3 different wheelie schools and I still can't do it on demand.
No,
it's a miracle.
I need to practice, but you can't really, there's no way you can really go and practice without someone thinking you're an absolute knob these days. So
that's the problem, isn't it? Yeah. And if you get caught, you're fucked these days.
It's actually similar in the car world. Like in the car world, every car journalist used to be able to send a car into 100-mile-an-hour drift with complete confidence. And that only happened because back in the magazine days, you were on a photo shoot for 2 or 3 days, mostly standing around in a car park or on a private test track. So what would you spend your time doing? You'd spend it learning to drift or whatever. And like the modern era of car journalists, they don't have that. They've got to be at their desks writing stuff to feed Google. And we don't learn how to drift anymore, which is a bit of a shame. So I can't really drift very well. And you look at the Chris Harrises of this world and that era of car journalists, and they spend 90% of their time dicking about. And some of the stories I've heard of them on press launches, trying to get back to the hotel with 3 of them in a car, but playing a game where you have to cross your feet over in the pedal box. So you're using your left foot for the accelerator.
Wow.
And things like that. And, all at insane speeds. I think the amount of dicking about was next level, but I don't think that happens so much anymore because there's no time.
I remember at uni, one of my mates got a car and, it was a big deal when you were at uni, someone had a car. I was like, wow. He's struggling to blooming afford your beer, let alone a car. Well, he had a car and he was driving us back up home from Glasgow, back up to North Aberdeen, where we were from. And I remember we were going up this road and we got chatting about left foot braking. It just came up. I think someone had seen Colin McRae or something. And he was like, "Have you ever tried left foot braking?" It was like, no. So I'm going to give this a bash. So we're in a dual carriageway road. And I remember he said, he looked up ahead, clear. He looked behind him, clear. He tapped the brake with his left foot, and we basically went through the windscreen. Turned around, and there's now like a queue of traffic behind us. It was just like we just screeched to a halt.
Yeah, now I'm a rally driver.
Would not recommend doing that. No, exactly. Yeah.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But it's quite interesting in the car world. There are quite a few try-hard drivers who will drive everything on the door handles, and you'll be like, "This is a 1.5 litre family SUV. I don't think I need to hear tires screeching every time we go around a corner and feel like I can see the light at the end of the tunnel when the end of my existence is nigh in a Seat Ateca or something like that."
But it looks cool.
Well, it doesn't though, because it just looks like you're a very angry bank robber or something like that.
Yeah.
Or you're just trying to get home to get back to school to pick the kids up in time or something like that. I don't know.
Let's start working our way through some questions, because there's quite a few for us to get through here.
Really? Okay, I've written some down as well I put YouTube post out the other day, so I've got some as well, but they're mostly whinges about bikes.
No worries. There's loads of stuff. I mean, I want to chat to you more about touring on bikes and your discovery of being off road, and like your military interest that you have, military history, all that. But I can see that's already tackled by some of the questions that have come in.
Okay,
so we'll
cool,
just
fine.
cover it. We'll cover it naturally. So first lot, we'll go across to the clan over on Patreon, patreon.com/TeapotOne. First one, Paul Brown. Morning, gents. Hope you're both well. Morning, Paul. Loving Tim's channel. Got to see you at ABR last year and you were very good. My question, I enjoy your trips to historic military sites. With no money and time restraints, where would you like to visit and on what bike?
Oh, I was thinking about this. Yeah, so my kind of thing is that I like doing tours. I've always loved doing tours. And ever since I did my first tour in 2010, I always wanted to film them. So now I can do that. And people don't watch them, but I don't care because I like the creative process of making them. But I tend to, these days, try and tie it up with military history. So it's not just a video about riding a bike. There's some meaning and some education going on behind the scenes. So yeah, at the moment, I'm very time constrained to young kids. I can't really go away for a week because I feel like a bad father. So I tend to do short hops over to France and Germany. If I had unlimited money and time, I would absolutely love to go to some of the Pacific Islands because I've never been out there. And there's a whole bunch of, not undiscovered, but almost undisturbed sites on Peleliu and places like that where massive battles happened. And I'm almost certain you could probably borrow a C-Net on the C90 or something and go bimbling around on an old scooter or something. And there's old Japanese cave systems out there. There's loads of stuff kind of that has been discovered, old airfields. So yeah, Peleliu, Iwo Jima, places like that, and just explore that region. I run very hot, so it would be the world's sweatiest video, I think. But I've seen
you say that a lot in your videos. You go on about that a lot.
Yeah. Whenever I meet someone else, like, I'm running hot. I run hot too. I'm like, good. I feel less bad about having water pouring off my face.
I'm Scottish, I'm fat, so I sweat a lot. So.
Yeah, I'm from Essex, I'm fat, I sweat a lot as well. I was walking around ABR Festival last year in all my gear, and I'm like, it was the world's hottest weekend, which was great, but not great for having to go to the shower all the time. So yeah, like there are YouTube videos of people exploring like Peleliu, where there's fierce cave fighting between the Americans and the Japanese, and they were still pulling Japanese remains out of some of these caves 10 years ago. They're still finding stuff.
Really?
And some of it's so tucked away and so buried in the jungle. And there's some pretty dodgy snakes and things kicking around as well. Yeah. So I kind of like the idea of kind of like scootering around, probably in shorts and a t-shirt, and just kind of wandering off to look at some of this stuff. And yeah, some of it's pretty grisly, but that's just so different to here's a French field with some German concrete in it, which I normally do, which I still find fascinating. But yeah, just like, some of those cliffs where it's like, oh, this cliff, if you go on Google Maps, is called Suicide Cliff because that's where the Americans called the Japanese and they all threw themselves off the cliffs, onto the rocks below and things like that. It's just a different part of the war that I've never touched. I've never visited any sites like that. Other than 10 years ago, I went to Japan and went around like the Tokyo Military History Museum, which is weirdly revisionist. I think the Japanese have a very different approach to their history than, say, the Germans, where the Germans are very like open and honest about everything that happened and don't want it to happen again. The Japanese slightly alter what happened, let's say.
Okay.
I think it's slightly interesting how they approach it. But there we go. Yeah, I'd like to go and do some Pacific Island hopping on a scooter or something, or whatever, CRF 300. And try not to like run over any old landmines or something like that.
Where did your love and your interest of military history come from?
Oh, it was just my childhood. I have this thing where if anyone starts speaking to me about films or in film quotes, I just glaze over because I've barely seen any films, unless they're war films. So like I saw The Lion King the first time 5 years ago when I had a child. And my friend's like, oh, didn't you see that when you were a kid? And I'm like, no, I was watching Memphis Belle and A Bridge Too Far.
Yeah.
That was just my childhood, growing up and stuff like that. And I just always reading military history. And I used to love going to Duxford as a kid, the Imperial War Museum there.
Oh, yeah.
Air shows. I was at air shows every year. My dad, my brother were really into planes. And I think I just really always loved reading personal histories of predominantly the Second World War. Because I wasn't interested in like, oh, well, this division went here and this battalion did that. I can't remember numbers, so I can't deal with that stuff. But when it's a personal diary from Joe Bloggs, who was in the trenches, I find that much more interesting. And then I think 2001, I was just finishing my GCSEs, Band of Brothers came out. And that kind of changed my life, really, my perspective on stuff. And I'd watch it all the way through every year. And then, you know, Google Maps is literally my most visited website and has been for the past 20 years because I'll just spend hours poking around on Google Maps on Street View, cross-referencing of whatever book I'm reading. So I'm a massive cartographical nerd, really, and I combine that with history stuff. And I'm just like, I want to go and see where this happened. I want to kind of envisage this better by walking the ground, as they say. So yeah, I've always just been a massive war nerd. And I did I got slightly green fingers at school. I did army cadets at school. When I was at university, I was in the Officer Training Corps, which is like it was technically part of the Territorial Army back then, but drinking is a student club with guns and you got paid to do it. So like, I never wanted to join the army, but I enjoyed the kind of the discipline and the outdooriness and the kind of getting 2 hours sleep outside than being ambushed and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's always just been there, really. And I guess in computer games as well as books, just general Second World War media-ness. I was always found it fascinating, and I always thought I could never have done any of the things those 22-year-old men did. And I hold them in great reverence, but now it's just like, you know, I like to go around and not get too, what's the word? I can't think of it. I don't get too mawkish about it, but I certainly think there's some education that can be done. And if I can do that through YouTube videos and combine it with motorbikes, it works quite well. And at ABR last year, I gave a chat and I talked about the tour I'd just done, combining that off-road riding with military history. It turns out the Venn diagram of people who like the Second World War, like it, who are interested in the Second World War and motorbikes is almost a circle. So,
all right.
So I'm going to keep going.
Yeah, I mean, that's really interesting what you've come across there. Like, you're, for anyone that's not seen these vids, folks, if you go across to Tim's bike channel, you're relatively new to off-road riding, trail riding, and you have got this love of military history. So you combined it. You went across into northern France and started doing parts of the Tet there whilst visiting military sites. And it's really interesting.
Oh, thank
really
you. I
interesting.
appreciate it. I've kind of started when I started doing YouTube tour videos only like in 2021 or 2022. I love going to the Vosges Mountains over in the Alsace region. This was an on-road tour on my old 1290 Super Adventure S. And, you know, I could only go away for 4 days, but you can get over to the Vosges Mountains really easily as the day's ride from Calais. And then you're in the mountains and the roads are great. But I was just stumbling upon like, there's loads of First World War trenches up in the mountains and there are First World War German graves and things up in the mountains. And, you know, I didn't associate the First World War with anything other than the Western Front, the Somme and flat fields with trenches in. So that I kind of started including a bit of it in that. And I kind of thought, I need to come back here and do this properly. And that's kind of how it started, really. And, you know, tour videos can quite often come across as, here's my holiday photos. It's like, you know, when your grandma comes back with a bunch of slides after a holiday, it's like, you're going to sit here and look at the slides from my holiday on the projector. And it's like, So it's just trying to find
that's my life, mate.
Well, no, but you do it very well.
All I'm producing is tour stuff.
You do it very well. And I think there's also a great, you know, doing stuff that you do, just teaching people about new places you can go and ride, not beating over the same old roads that we've seen 1,000 times. So yeah. So hopefully this year I'll do more of that off-road war-y stuff, but also I'm going to hopefully do an on-road tour again, which I've not done for years, in September. I'll see how much time I can get, but I want to go and revisit some of my favorite roads that I did 15 years ago before I got into YouTube. kind of like the route Napoleon, that kind of like France, Swiss border, a bit of Austria and Italy.
Yeah.
And for that, I need to buy a second bike, which I'm very excited about doing. The Tenere is not going anywhere. And I've always had a one bike policy just because of my parking situation, but I found a way to fit another bike in. So I need to go used bike shopping and get something stupid.
So what are you going for?
I don't know yet. I'm kind of thinking the theme of the tour is probably going to be, these are the first tours I did back in the early like 2010s, 2011s. Go back and revisit all those roads on one of my dream bikes from that era that I couldn't afford at the time, something like that. So I'm thinking things like KTM RCA-Rs. I'm thinking the 1100 Street Fighter that Ducati did back in the day, the 1098 engine, which apparently is a really crap bike, but I'm just really keen to try one. And there's loads of bikes from that era, like Gixxer Thousands, never had one of those. The original S1000RR. I like something slightly inappropriate. Basically, I want a GS, but I'm not allowing myself to buy a GS at this stage. So I just want to tour on something inappropriate.
You want a bike that's got performance, that will tour, can do some off-road.
No, I'm not off-road. No, this will be purely on-road. The Tenere will be staying as my off-road
but
bike.
one bike policy, Tim. One bike policy.
No, but I'm going to try.
If only there was a bike that did everything.
Oh, because I will. No,
you said it's a Gixxer Thou. It's a Gixxer Thou. Go anywhere.
Like Chris Eads, he's done his fair share of off-roading on one of those, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I remember watching that Baron von Grumble video of the Green Lady as one of the first motorbike YouTube videos I think I ever watched. And I lived with my mate in London at the time, and I had to get him. I'm like, come and watch this. This is absolutely hilarious. And then, it's just, he's a complete hero, or still is. It's just weird that I get to talk to him now and like see him occasionally. What a legend.
I was properly fucked off with Chris when he did that, because I just taken my Gixxer over some fields in Kent in preparation for going away and do my big trip. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this will be magic. This will do really well. I put it up, got about 4 views, and then look, and Chris has got this video where he's gone proper green laning, like ditching the bike and all sorts. It was like, fuck. Talk about pissing on my chips.
But I mean,
you win that one.
but if you did it a week later, the YouTube algorithm gods might have given you all the views. You don't know. It's so fickle. You just can't predict what a video is going to do anyway. So, YouTube life is like you put your heart and soul into a video and it bombs. You churn out something very quickly, literally in 15 minutes, and it's the biggest video of the year.
It's insane, isn't it? How there's just no continuity across it. I just don't understand it.
I just try to keep my standards very low, and I don't care about anything. Just chuck it out. It's like people what? Go on, sorry, go on.
No, go on.
I was just going to say, like, you can get all these questions like, what camera should I use? What should I do? I'm like, put as little effort into it as possible, because it might bomb, or it might do great. And then, you can try and predict the algorithm and game it, but at the end of the day, what are you going to do? There's some of your videos that do well some way. There's a bit of SEO that you can do. Like all my car channel is basically an SEO game. So when people search for, I want to see a Hyundai Tucson review, I'll try and be at the top of the search listing, but I'm not expecting a big boom of views, straight away. And my car channel is very much by the numbers car reviews every single week in the same place. It's incredibly tedious to watch probably, but I try and put some jokes in it. And just try and help people choose the right cars, because, people buying cars aren't there to subscribe to a channel to be like, I need to see the review of every single car I've made. It's not like that. Whereas my bike channel
Are they different?
What
Are they different? Like the bike, it's like 2 motorbikes strapped together. No, I'm like, is the car crowd different to the bike crowd then in terms of YouTube?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. What, in terms of the audience or in terms of the other
just and their viewing habits. Like I tend to find, maybe it's just the content that I create, but I tend to find it's grown a nice tight community. There's a core community around the channel, and then there's sort of outsiders that come and go, whatever.
Yeah. I've definitely got
Is
much
the car
more
like that?
No. The bike channel is a bunch of very, very lovely, open-minded loyalists who I love. The car channel is that to a lesser extent, but a lot more outsiders, a lot more a lot more twats in the comments. Whereas the bike channel genuinely feels like a lovely community. Whereas the car channel is bigger, the car channel makes more money because bike advertising doesn't pay anywhere near as much as cars does, but I don't really care about that. It's just a different vibe. It is a different vibe. And there are people out there who will watch every single car video I do, which is lovely, but I'm not really doing it for that. Yeah, it's just different. It's just different vibe. And like lots of the car comments are people who are watching videos of cars they've already bought and telling me that my opinion is wrong because I said something.
Right, yeah.
I said something that they didn't agree with about their beloved JQ7, like Chinese SUV thing. And then all the other comments will be like, well, why are you even promoting Chinese cars? No, I'm not reviewing them. And that just happens to be that they're the most popular cars at the moment because no one's got money for various reasons. And therefore people are voting their wallets.
Well, it's hard to argue against it, especially in the bike world at the moment.
Yeah.
You know, Chinese manufacturers are producing. It's not shit anymore. It used to be like made of cheese and shit. Now it's good quality, stacked bikes that are coming at
100%.
an affordable price. But I think a lot of people either don't appreciate why that is, or they just don't care. What's going to happen? We're just going to end up in a two-tier system, I think, personally, within the bike world, where very shortly the middle ground will go. You're going to have your luxury brands like your Ducatis and BMWs, and then anyone that cannot compete with the Chinese market will disappear. 100%. And then once China's got it, they can do what they like with the price.
Yeah. Oh, 100% agree. 100% agree. And actually, that was one of the questions that I had on my channel post is like, there were quite a few angry things about Chinese bikes. And one of them did raise a good point is like all these reviewers say these Chinese bikes are great. They've got loads of kit. They're cheap. What are they going to look like in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? Like, where are you going to get it serviced? Is it going to fall apart? Is it going to rot away? And I guess the answer is, well, maybe. No one really knows. But certainly on the car channel, lots of people point out, it's like, in the 80s, Japanese cars were like this. And
exactly.
Look where they are now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one. And I'm very curious because I've never been to China. I've never really seen what it's actually like out there. And I'm fortunately going for a week in April with a Chinese car company. They're not paying me. I'm going out there to review and criticize their cars and go to the Beijing Motor Show. I'm just super keen to like see what it's actually like out there because they are doing mad things that European manufacturers can't do. I went to the Munich Motor Show back in October. Or September last year, and there's always a hall full of like, there's no cars, but it's like parts suppliers, literally there's like windscreen washer bottle manufacturers and things like that, like really niche things. And there was a Chinese engine company, and I was walking past just looking at like some car engines made in China, and there was a motorbike engine, and I'm like, I was looking at like, what is that? It was a flat eight motorbike engine.
Wow.
Like, what the hell is that? And it was 2 liters or 1.8 liters, something like that. And it had like, 120 horsepower. So it's obviously quite like long stroke, like torquey engine, not very revvy. And suddenly I was taking photos and doing a video of it because I thought this is weird. And then the guys came over, I got mobbed by all the Chinese people saying, oh my God, yes, are you interested in this? Like, I'm like, yeah, what's it going? And they showed me a photo of the bike that this engine is built for. And it's a Chinese Goldwing ripoff. So it's like they've gone up 2 cylinders on the Honda Goldwing. It's like, yeah, that one's got 8 cylinders. And it's just like, and it had a DCT gearbox and all the rest of it. And it just looked very well done. And it's just going in a Goldwing ripoff. But they're making that engine for one bike. And it's like, yeah, fine, the Goldwing engine doesn't go in anything else, I don't think. But to have that R&D budget to produce such a niche thing, and like they've just probably turned that out in 6 months. Like the pace at which the Chinese could iterate on something is what will make them succeed. Because at the start of last year, I drove loads of Chinese cars and they all had the same problem. The suspension was crap on UK roads and all of the driver assistance, lane keep assist stuff didn't understand that you were driving on the left. Like it was just constantly taking over the steering, doing weird stuff, freaking out on country roads, and it was just a disaster. 6 months later, oh yeah, we've changed the suspension, done a software update, and I drove a bunch, and it's like, Jesus, this feels like a different car. That would have taken Mercedes or BMW 3 years to iterate, and they just done it like that.
They seem to have, the Chinese manufacturer, they seem to have that ability to pivot almost instantaneous. As soon as an issue comes up, they seem to act on it very quickly. And as you said, the bureaucracy in like the European bike and car market, it's years before the development changes. They just seem to turn it on the dime, so to speak.
Like, just imagine how much cost and how much time went into like going from the 1250 boxer engine at BMW to the 1300.
Yeah,
that would have been like obviously millions and millions and millions of euros, but probably like a 5-year project. And now they've just got to put that engine in literally everything. Whereas the Chinese probably be like, oh, well, you know, we'll make a V4 just for the sake of it and things like that.
Yeah.
So it is
Shits
interesting.
and giggles.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not saying their bikes are the best in the world and the cars aren't the best in the world, but there's nearly always the caveat of for the money. It's good for the money. So yeah, I'll be interested to see where it goes, but I do agree. You kind of like look at, you know, what like Honda, like where are they going to go? Like they're desperately trying to compete on cost at the moment with like the Hornet 1000s and things like that. It's like, oh, elite bike for 10 grand. And they've got like the 350s and things like that. But there are certain manufacturers that are just kind of in that middle ground where they're a bit expensive seeming for what they are, like some of the Kawasaki's and things. It's like, I feel like you're going to get eaten alive.
Yeah, that's a dangerous market, that middle ground. I think they're the ones that are going to struggle.
I think you're 100% right. And in the car world, like your Volkswagens, it's like, I genuinely worry a Volkswagen and certainly Ford are going to exist in 5 years' time because they're just having their lunch and their sandwiches eaten by the Chinese already. And these Chinese brands only really kicked off at the start of 2025 and they're already got massive market share. So yeah, people are voting with their wallets and brand loyalty is dead, certainly in the car world. I think lots of these brands like, oh yeah, people will come back to a Volkswagen dealer. No, they're going to a Volkswagen dealer because it's the one nearest their house. It's like, now they're going to go online and order a JQ for £2 a month and have that outside.
It's a shame though, because like I think we're only going to realise this when it's almost too late. It's like at the moment, you know, you go into Europe, every village has a baker there. You know, everyone's queuing, getting the bread in the morning. It's part of law that anywhere where I think there's over, I can't remember the number, but it's not many. So even if they have a new development and they generate a new part of a town or a village, if there's over X amount of people and it's only something like, you know, 8 homes or something, it's not huge. By law, they have to have a boulangerie. Is it boulangerie or patisserie?
Yeah,
you know, bakers.
Where
you can get bread, because that is ingrained into the French ethos.
Yeah.
You must, it's like a civil right. You must have access to fresh bread. Yeah, it is, yeah.
That's fascinating.
You look that over here, you can't find a baker anymore. You can't, like, few and far between. Greengrocers, you know, even, it's like an event if you find a proper butcher's or a proper fishmonger's, because everything's in the big supermarkets, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I live in Dorking in Surrey, and we do have a independent butcher's, but I go in there and I come like, I have 3 steaks, please. And then it's that scary thing, isn't there? When you go to a butcher's, you know you're about to be financially ruined, but you don't know to what extent. Because the prices are like, it's £56,000 per kilogram. I don't know how big steak is. So
and what cut do you want?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, no, I like ribeyes, and the kids can have a sirloin. And then I will literally say 3 steaks, please. And I'm like, oh, this is great. 46 quid, please. And I'm like, I'm too British to say no, put it back. So it's just like, okay, but then, fine. Okay,
you know, I'm a very stubborn and at times belligerent person, and I kind of, I would rather, obviously I'm in a position where you can do that. You know, when you're in a position where you can go and splash out and buy a steak, and it's like, well, I'm going to get it from the butcher's and up you to the Tesco supermarket. Other supermarkets are available, obviously, but it's like, I would rather give my money to the local farm, if you like. We've got a couple of farms around here, and they started doing like the old-fashioned milk runs, you know, proper milk bottles and that. Yeah. So it's like 100%, yes, we'll have some of that. And they're starting to look at, I think they're looking at branching out and going in with some, what's the terminology? Like meat farms, so they can start doing meat as well. And it's like 100%. You start doing that, we'll get the meat from you rather than some supermarket.
100%. Yeah. I think I love the idea of that, and I'm always trying to buy local and shop local and all the rest.
Shop local, yeah.
Sometimes it's hard, but then I have to realize there's like for the vast majority of the population, it's like that's unaffordable. So it's just like, I feel fortunate that I can get by those steaks, but most people can't. And then when it comes to motorbikeing, all my local dealers have shut down. So what do I do?
That's the problem, isn't it? That is they're shutting down all over the place. The last month or two, there seems to be like an epidemic of dealerships shutting down.
I did a video, I think, October 2024, there was a massive rash of it. And I did a video about that. I mean, it went mad because my big local dealer was P&H in Crawley, who had Ducati, KTM, Honda, Kawasaki.
Got my first bike from them.
Oh, did you? What was your first bike?
Gixxer 600.
Nice. Weirdly, I was in there the other day looking at Gixxer 600s, but it's a superbike factory now. Yeah. And they had a bunch of those. So now I occasionally wander down there to have a look around and do some videos from that. And it's just I keep wanting to buy another KTM, and I'm like, I genuinely don't know where I would take it to get it serviced. It's like I don't have a problem with KTM. I kind of want to support them because I think they're an amazing company going through some horrible times, but I don't know how. I don't know how it would work. I
think and I hope KTM is going to be the new Ducati. You know how Ducati's had this resurgence where their customer service seems to have stepped up a gear, and the quality of the products seems to be stepping up. Still have a few issues, but it's now being considered as a viable brand. It's because before it was all tits and no knickers. It was that's kind of how you know what I mean. Looked amazing, sound amazing, but fucking hell, you're gonna be in for a ride because that thing's gonna go wrong.
Exactly.
They seem to.
The internet
they seem to go over that.
No, because you only hear the bad stories. You get the bad stories get amplified, and all the happy owners who never had a problem, they're not going to go on the internet and say, "Oh, my one's been really good, actually." But then there's no smoke without fire, and KTM cannot get away from that. I've got mates who've been diehard KTM owners and never had any issues, and lo and behold, over the last year or two, they're starting to have loads of issues. However, KTM seem to be focusing on that at the moment. The owner of KTM is like, that is number one priority. We need to sort out not so much reliability, but the customer service. So when the customer comes in with an issue, we don't argue with them and go, it's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault. It's, yes, sir, BMW hat on, let's fix this. They seem to be trying to do that. So we'll see. No, I think it's crossed because they're out of all the manufacturers out there, their bikes speak to me the most. Like they just have something in their DNA that's inherently stupid and inherently a bit unhinged.
The fun.
And just like they have a sense of humor.
Yeah, it's what bikes should be, rebellious, fun.
Because I love Super Nakers. I like the Super Duke is just, it's insane. And then you get on a Ducati Street Fighter V4 and it's very polished, it's very pretty, it's very desirable. And it's incredible, outrageously fast, but it's not much fun. And it's, I don't know, there's something in that, like the KTM-ness needs to stick around because otherwise we're going to have like a bunch of fairly corporate feeling bikes out there.
Yeah. I have spent a shit ton of money on my 1300 GS trying to make it a little bit more KTM, trying to make it a little bit more edgy, a little bit edgier. Edgier? More edgy? Edgier. Yeah. You're the journalist. Which word is it, Tim?
Oh, it was edgier. Yeah.
edgier. I've tried to just make it a little bit more engaging, a bike to ride, because I really found the stock 1300 almost bland. Once you get over that initial, holy fuck, it's got so much more grunt in it, I find, than the 1250s. Once you get over that, it's like kind of a little bit bored. I jump on the Multistrada or especially KTM, and you're like, shit balls, this is fun.
I used to love my old 1290 Super Adventure. I mean, I think it halved in value in the time that I owned it, but it was, I could only sell it to a guy in Greece who exported bikes to Greece because they're taxed to high heavens out there. But I love that bike. Weirdly, one of the most interesting bikes I rode last year was the R1300R, the BMW naked with the 1300 engine. And that engine in a naked bike is pretty good. It feels like BMW Super Duke, is I think what I said at the time. Because it's got so much shove, and the naked bike riding position, it was naughty. It was trying to pop wheelies off every crest. And I had the ASA one, and that was mega. It's like, why would I have a truck?
ASA. Hate it.
I think it's like the best implementation of an automated manual, purely because you've still got a foot lever. So that's still natural, whereas the Yamaha one, you've got finger things. No, I quite like it. I wouldn't like it for off-roading, but I don't know. It's like suddenly got the smoothest gearbox you've ever had on a Boxer. It's like, I
was the polar opposite.
Don't leave it in auto. Like, auto's terrible, but you have to ride it manual.
Tim, this is my issue, right?
Yeah.
Everyone says that, right? I buy an automatic bike. Auto is what you're going to ride it in.
No.
And it's a bag of shit. You put it in manual and the gear change is lovely. Why am I buying an auto to put it in manual?
Because you've got the world's best quick shifter. But I think, now I'm saying this out loud, I suddenly think back to the days of the Aston Martin DB9 with its automated manual gearbox. I remember the first time I ever drove one of those, the Aston Martin guys like,
oh, hello.
The mistake people make with these is that they leave the automatic gearbox in automatic. What you actually need to do is leave it in manual the whole time. They're like, that sounds like a bit of a fudge for a 200 grand car. So I feel like if it says automatic, it should be automatic. Maybe I might wall back on myself there.
I tell you what, since I decat, I've got a full system on that 1300 now, and I've mapped it as well. I put the BHP map on it.
Oh yeah,
and I put a DNA air filter and stage 2 box on it. Once all that's gone in, the quick shifter and the blipper are smooth as buggery now. They're beautiful, but that's a lot of money to get that on an already very expensive bike.
Does it unleash any more power, or is it just smoothing it all out? Is it?
I've not had it dynoed or anything, but I think it puts it from 145, allegedly with the exhaust, the full system and blah, 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 up to around about 155-ish, maybe a bit more. So it's got a wee bit more. But I mean, that will piss over most things up to sort of 70, 80 mile an hour. It's crazy. It's maybe not 50, 60, usable roads sort of stuff.
Well, that's it. It's all about shit off corners, isn't it? It's like, for me, it's just having an engine that can make the front end go light on the way out of a corner, looking at crests and being like, I'm in third gear. That for me is like half the fun of it. I'm not doing massive clutch up wheelies for 200 meters because I can't do that, but just having little this feels a bit dangerous.
Yeah. If I could do that, I would do that, but I just can't.
Yeah. No, and I now feel like I'm too old, and I feel like to get that good on a bike, you need to be put on a bike at the age of 8 years old. And doing motocross in your teenage years and being like all the proper bike journalists who have raced at the TT and everything else. And they're just
you need to go to wheelie school because, I've been and I'm still shit at them. But there was a guy there who, like in the morning, couldn't wheelie, and by about his 5th run was popping the front up, and he is now a legend. Now he's doing like full runway lengths. He's done about 19 of these classes, but he'll do a full runway length on the back wheel. Yeah.
Well, I think I'd love to do that, but I kind of want to be able to do it on my own bike, and I'd be too scared, I think. Because is there a point
he's on his own bike?
Is there a point in the class they say, you can switch over from our bike with like the ignition cut off stick hanging out the back to your own bike? Okay.
Oh yeah, it's up to you. Yeah, you can do it all on your bike if you want. The wheelie school is a bit of advertising for them.
I've destroyed my Tenere already, so I might as well go and do it on that. It's quite handy actually. No, that's on my list of things to do. Sorry, we've only done one question, haven't we?
I've just a way to say it, we've done one question in an hour and 23 minutes. That's quite a good effort. Right, cheers for that question, Paul. Whatever it was, I can't remember.
Thank you.
I hope we answered it. Yes. Don't mention the war. Next one, Simon Lewis. Hello, Bruce and Tim. Question for Tim. As a YouTube creator, if you do watch other channels, which channel do you always look forward to receiving the notification for when there's a new video to watch, both car and bike?
Okay, this is where I'm going to sound like quite a grumpy old man. I barely watch any car videos because it's like a busman's holiday. Because I'll be, I spend my entire day writing about cars, scripting car videos, presenting car videos. So I'll either think, oh my God, they've done such a better job than me, or I'll be like, oh, that's a bit boring. So the only car channel I watch is Harry Metcalf. He's got a channel called Harry's Garage. He's a farmer. He founded Evo magazine, and he's a legend because he's got a massive shed on his farm full of cars. He's got Lamborghini Countachs, things like that. It's quite a lot of money in farming. We used to be. And he's friends with Clark's, and his farm is near Clarkson's and stuff. But he has walked the walk, and he has owned all these cars. So when he's driving a supercar or something, you listen to him because he's owned Pagani's, Ondas, and all sorts of ridiculous things. And he's got a farm channel as well, doing like a kind of slightly more serious Clarkson's farm take on the UK farming industry, which I find fascinating. So I watch him. He's the only car channel I watch. And motorbikes, I watch a couple of people. Watch you, obviously. I watch you.
Thanks. Cheers.
But really, for me, the one that is almost my go-to is 44 Teeth. Just purely because I grew up reading fast bikes, reading Alf Hagen, and then YouTube. I just grew up watching Bramble and Grumble. Yeah. So when they started a channel together, it was massively exciting. So they're always my go-to. They don't take themselves very seriously, and they're just doing something a bit different out there. So yeah, that's it really. But my YouTube, I spend a lot of time watching YouTube, like a lot of time. I don't really watch TV. But most of my time is spent watching photography stuff, gaming stuff, guitar stuff, mostly guitar stuff. There's a local guitar shop in Guildford called Andertons who've got 1 million subscribers on their YouTube channel. They are very entertaining. I can't play
they
guitar.
genuinely have 1 million subscribers.
Yep.
Jesus.
And it's the owner of the company, Lee Anderton, who presents it. Co-presents the videos. And it's like a family business they've had for 60 years or so. And that's where I bought that Strat from the other day. And it's like, if I buy a guitar from anywhere or any guitar stuff, I'm only going to go there. It's the power of YouTube marketing because I feel like I know them. But anyway, so yeah, I don't watch that much car and bike stuff really as a proportion of what I watch on YouTube. I watch lots of history documentaries, and there's lots of great people out there doing. I'm a big sucker for like then and now, Second World War stuff, and yeah, there's a real mixed bag. But cars and bikes, after a while, is like that's what I'm spending my evenings editing my own version of. So
yeah, I'm the same. I'm the same.
Yeah.
Since I started doing this full time, I used to watch shit ton of YouTube all the time, and I was always watching all the different bike sort of channels out there just to see what people are doing, to be honest. You know, it's just like, right, okay, what's going on. I just don't anymore. I got to admit, since we chatted and you were coming on here and I was watching your channel, I love that military side of stuff that you do, because it's something different. It's incorporating bikes. Sadly, they're off-road and military. You know, and I'm interested in the military sort of history side of stuff. So I really enjoy that. For me personally, I watch a lot of techie stuff, you know, camera reviews, drones, all that. Editing, I really like my editing. So watching the editing tutorial type vids. Again, just to see what's the current thing out in that niche, like what's the new thing that's coming, or how do you do certain techniques might be cropping up in a lot of vids. It's all right, okay, how have you done that then? And you know, and now AI with the advent of AI now and that impact it's having on editing. It's like, okay, what's out there? What can we do with this?
I am forever watching like camera lens reviews and camera reviews, and I kind of got that new DJI Neo 2 drone, the one where you don't need a controller and you just fly it out the palm of your hand. And I took that green laning, and it's astonishing. It just locks onto you and it will fly 3 meters in front of you or behind you or wherever you tell it to. You don't need a remote control. It records to internal storage, and it will go through fairly small, it will try and avoid everything, but it can take hits from branches and stay in the air. So I just took that down my local green lanes on my T7, and I'm like, this thing is amazing. And again, in a year's time, DJI will have a new version that will be even better, avoiding everything. So I was watching your drone how-to guide on Instagram the other day. And it is, like you say, it's like, well, that was 20 minutes of work for a 10-second shot.
That's kind of what it is like, though, isn't it, with the drones? So I used to do these like minute-long drone montages with cinematic shit. You looked at the analytics and people just went skip straight through it. So it's like, get it down to 10 seconds and job done.
When we started the Car Wow YouTube channel back in 2016, we invested loads in camera gear and making it really pretty, really kind of almost cinematic. And within about a year, it's just like, let's do it all on GoPros. No one cares. And it takes so much more editing time, and you're filling up hard drives left, right, and center. That's why my YouTube video reviews are like, here's one shot on a tripod, jump cut. Here's another one, jump cut.
Yeah.
and there we go.
It's all you need. It really,
Yeah.
I think almost YouTube went through a state of like almost over the production values went ridiculous. You know, they were competing with what you get on Netflix and mainstream TV. And that wasn't why people were coming to YouTube. Right. You know, that is past now, thankfully. And I think people have seem to be going back to, you know, they come on YouTube because they want to see almost raw, real reviews of stuff and footage of stuff. They want to see what your experience is of that bike, that car, that product, whatever it is, new camera, drone, whatever it is. So they want to see it warts and all. You know, they want to see shitty footage, but they want to see your opinion.
They want to see a real take, and they want the personality. They want to watch someone that they can associate with, that they're happy to watch. They think is a real person. So so there we go. Those are the YouTube channels that I watch.
Yeah, cool. Sai's got a different question. He says, secondly, what's your thoughts on the full electric switch for the motor industry and the buying customers if it does happen in 2030? What would your manifesto be? Now, Sai works within the motoring industry.
Oh,
he works up at Land Rover, Range Rover, one of the dealerships there.
Okay, yeah. Bring back diesel. No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. The government hasn't given any sort of reasonable incentives. They were way too late to the party to actually incentivize manufacturers. They used to have some incentives for buying EVs, and they took them away. And I think consumer demand for electric cars has plateaued. We're seeing sales
because it's a con.
It's a con. It just doesn't suit everyone. It doesn't, and it's. I can't remember what the stat is. It's something about 45% of UK properties don't have a driveway. If you don't have a driveway, you can't charge at home. It's not going to be financially viable. I can't charge a car at home, so I have to go to a public fast charger where it costs more than super unleaded to charge an electric car. And obviously, the values of them buying new are overinflated. The subsidies are coming back for buyers, but not at any great level.
There's no second-hand market in it. There's no second-hand market in electric.
Well, so
certainly bikes.
Bikes, I don't think it's going to happen. Like, sure, in a city, like last mile commuting in China or something, great.
Yeah.
But over here, for pleasure, absolutely not going to happen. So my day job, Motorpoint, there's like 20 dealers around the country, 21, and we sell nearly new cars. So cars that are basically a couple of years old. Some are less than a year old. Some have got less than 1,000 miles on. And there are EVs that we've got in stock that are 3 months old with 1,000 miles on at 22 grand off their list price, like down from 50 grand to 30 grand. It's a combination of them being overpriced in the first place, but also just like the depreciation in the first year. They depreciate at a much, much, much greater rate than a petrol diesel car. Yes, after a year they kind of get parity, but it's just insane. So lease them, which is what people are doing, but it's just doesn't work for everyone. It's a solution. I'm not anti-EV, but I'm also, I drive diesels as much as I can because I do big miles quite often. So
and perversely, they seem to be better for the environment. Fossil fuel vehicles, that's my gripe with this whole EV cult. It feels like that is being rammed down everyone's throat. It's the green alternative. It's not. It's just not. It's worse for the fucking environment.
The greenest
people just seem to be swallowing it.
Exactly. The greenest thing you can do is to keep the car that you've got because it's already been built. Those
and the infrastructure's already there for it.
Yeah. Sure. I think we will live in a world where we've got lots of petrol hybrids. Fine. Don't have a problem with that. But then there's equally loads of people who are running around in petrol plug-in hybrids because there are company car tax breaks for that. And I can guarantee you most people are running those around with a flat battery, using that petrol engine to lug around a very heavy empty battery and battering their MPG as a result. So it's just like, I think we'll be back in the land of combustion, and we'll be there for a while. EVs will work for some people. Look at, let's focus on the shipping and cargo industries first. Stop going on P&O cruises or whatever you're doing because that is killing more polar bears than the entire of the UK's cars combined. shipping stuff over from China in massive container ships. Like one trip on those will absolutely screw you compared to what millions and millions of cars are going to do. But yeah, I mean, it's fine. There are manufacturers out there who are trying to make EVs fun to drive, which has sort of worked to an extent on some of them. But reviewing them is quite hard work because lots of them feel the same. But also, let's not forget that in the past 10 years, petrol and diesel cars have also got increasingly boring as well. So going back to about motorbikes still getting more exciting, cars very much not. You get the latest Audi RS6, Bentley Continental, whatever. Yes, it might have a V8. Does it sound like it's got a V8? Well, not really, because it's got so many converters in it and particulate filters that you'll be looking in the classifieds for an older one from 10 years ago because it makes a better noise, and that's why you buy it, frankly. So no, I'm not anti-EV, but I don't see that the government or manufacturers really are in a place to give up. And certainly looking at Porsche, they're walking back on their EV plans because they've invested billions and billions of pounds in electric cars that the market is already plateauing for, frankly. So go and buy that V8 Cayenne that you've always wanted. That'd be my advice.
There you go. You heard it here, folks. Yeah, I'm going to say, I just don't... Common sense suggests no, it can't happen. But then I'm very aware common sense doesn't seem to play much part in government legislation, especially this. Let's not get into politics.
No.
It's going to be where the money is, isn't it? Like people have, as you said, people have invested billions, if not trillions, into this new EV world. But as you just said there, I think looking further ahead, they can see that there's no future in that. It's not going to be what perhaps they thought it was. Not yet. Maybe technology will develop. Who knows? Hydrogen might turn. Who knows? But I can see them. I think things are going to focus more back onto traditional fossil fuel for a while. Anyway.
Until the people without driveways can recharge their car at the same time that it takes you to fill up with petrol.
We don't own anything, and we all have to live in apartment blocks.
Yes,
we're all in 50-minute cities, and we're told when to work and when to
yeah. I'm looking forward to my trip.
Anyway, China, you say, Okay, cheers for that one, Simon. Next one, Ralph. To both, what would you recommend as a must-do and must-see for a foreign biker visiting Scotland? Love the podcast and its guests. Hire from the Netherlands. So, must-do, must-see, biker trip to Scotland.
Right. I'm not going to say North Coast 500 because someone else is probably going to say that. It's very obvious. It's very beautiful, but not the world's greatest biking road, I'd argue, or route. I like it's the old military road out of on the East Coast. It's called the old military road. I can't remember what it is. It's across, is it Glencoe ski resort up there?
Cairngorms.
Cairngorms, across the Cairngorms. That road is absolutely magic. Just
it's like a roller coaster.
It is like a roller coaster. I last did it in a Lamborghini Huracan STO on a very wintry morning on summer tyres. There was snow on either side of the road and I nearly went off the road several times, but it was amazing. And I've done it on bikes as well. I did it on a Honda Cross Tourer. Do you remember the old V4? It's like a VFR, but upright with the 800. A very weird, slightly forgotten motorbike that's not the first thing that you think about when tackling that road. But honestly, that road, I want to go and do it again. It's amazing. No, it's your turn, Bruce.
Wouldn't do it in August. Do it.
No.
September's a good time to go up to Scotland, and sort of April, May is quite a good time. But then you need wind. If there's no wind, you're going to have midges, and they will ruin everyone's day. So hope for a bit of wind, and then you'll be fine. I would say some of the North Coast. I would say the Northwest. If you do right up in the North, Sutherland, that part of Scotland, right up in the Northwest there, that to me is my favourite part of Scotland. It's just awesome. So that road that heads all the way up.
It's like another world, isn't it? It's like
it's gorgeous.
Every corner, it feels like you're in a different film. Yeah. It's like, this is Game of Thrones.
Absolutely.
It's mind-blowing. I'm hopefully going to do the North Coast 500 in May. On a car trip, but on bikes, weirdly, don't ask. I can't wait. But last time I did it, there were midges. Like your headlights didn't work after half an hour riding because the front of your bike was black with dead midges, and you can't take your helmet off. But other than that, it is outrageously stunning.
There's a couple of problems with Scotland. Is if you go in peak touristy time, it's going to be rammed. Not too much of an issue if you're on the bike, because even the North Coast 500, you can the bike, you can get by folk. It comes to things like hotels, because the hotel prices are ridiculous in peak time. It's cheaper to go to Europe, including your ferries and everything like that. It's cheaper to do a week in Europe than it is in Scotland. We're not doing a Scotland tour this year just because it was our most expensive tour to run last year with the least profit. So it's like, well, why would we do this when we can go to Europe and make more money and charge less? So we'll do that. And the other thing is, I kind of got a little bit arsey with Scotland because they seem to have forgotten customer service.
Oh, really?
I think lockdown made people very lazy. And you turn up, and it was almost the first couple of years we started going back up after lockdown. It was like you were an inconvenience for the cafes and restaurants and hotels. It's like they didn't want your business. And I just started to get the arse because I'm like, you're paying 150, 200 quid a night in some of these hotels. And you're like, be nice. You know what I mean? At least be nice to us. Don't talk to us with a sneer. So I kind of got the arse with some places and just thought, fuck it, you're not having me money. I'll go somewhere else.
I've only done North Coast 500 back in 2017, I think it was. But the reason I haven't gone back is by the time I've got to Inverness, I can get to the Black Forest. Me in the south of England is like I can get to France, I can get to Germany, maybe not the world's most exciting parts of those countries, but for me there's something interesting and exotic about having to speak a different language.
No, I get you.
Riding on the other side of the road,
different language. You have been to Scotland, haven't you? Even I'm like, what did you say?
Möchte ein Haggis bitte? So I don't know, I've just not gone back up there, but as I say, hopefully in May I'll be going back up there. Nice. Revisiting it, and hopefully not paying for it.
As far as must do things, Ralph, blimey, come on, must do things in Scotland. Must do, God.
Deep fried Mars bar, surely.
Yeah, that is a thing. That is like if you go Glasgow, or certainly any of the central sort of belt. Actually, I think that was up in Arbroath, wasn't it? On the East Coast. I think that's where they started deep fried Mars bars and everything. But it's very much a sort of Glasgow, Edinburgh type thing now.
Right.
My son was telling me that the thing when I first met my wife and she came up to meet my son. He was telling us, oh no, what we do at school now is Cadbury's cream eggs. So they were deep frying Cadbury's cream eggs. I was like, Jesus Christ.
That's got to be like napalm in the middle. Like the logistics of eating a deep fried cream egg. If the middle gets hot, it'll just like dribble down your chin, taking all your skin off, wouldn't it?
But it's like the outside is all crispy in the batter and the inside was just nice. So it wasn't like scalding hot.
If it's temperate,
it was nice.
If it's temperate goo in the middle, then that's okay.
I love talking to journalists. They have such a vocabulary.
Temperate goo. I think I saw them at the Cambridge Quarry thing. Yeah.
Nice. So try that, Ralph. What else would you do? If you're going to Scotland, if you're going to go to Edinburgh, do Edinburgh Castle. That's worth seeing. Cool. All the touristy stuff, I'm afraid. What's not generally touristy that you could do in Scotland? Jesus. Christ.
For me, it's just all about the scenery.
Touristy.
Yeah, that's it. It's like just enjoy the scenery.
Highland cows, whiskey.
Toss the caber. Expensive hotel room.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, use some moisture. Anyway, right. Enjoy your time, Ralph. Enjoy that. Next one, Patrick Collum. Morning or evening to you both, depending on time of recording. Morning, mate. Morning. Question for you both. As you have slight different takes, given your experience at Drive Tribe or Bruce's with Motorcycle TV, or Motorbike TV, that was a TV thing I did. What has been the one thing that has surprised you in terms of the way that vehicles are covered? For example, it's always shocked me around how there's motorcycle launch fever, and then how when I've come to see the said bike, I've often been underwhelmed. We talked about this earlier, didn't we? About this
Yeah,
people's reaction at launches compared to
launch fever definitely seems to be more of a thing in the motorbike world than the car world. I think there's a few reasons for that. On a bike launch, you go out and ride together as a group with a lead rider, a tail rider, usually at a fairly illegal pace. And who doesn't like doing that? I mean,
exactly.
You're egging each other on. You're on usually pretty great roads. You're going to enjoy it, whatever bike you're on. And then, sometimes the context of having other bikes in your mind isn't always there. So things always seem worse when you ride in the UK, don't they? So like
potholes, traffic, shitty
exactly.
weather.
And then I was getting hot around town, the clutch is grabby, blah, blah, blah. I didn't use the clutch for 3 hours in that press launch. So I think there's that to it. And in the car world, you're not doing that. On a car launch, you're going out in a car on your own. There's a set route, which I normally ignore. And you're just driving the car on your own. So you're just using it normally. So I think you get a slightly fairer representation of a car abroad compared to its UK launch. So I don't know. I'm surprised the difference is how they're covered. Yeah, everyone comes back from a bike launch with pretty much the same video because they're riding the same roads, they're doing the same thing. It's just a bit samey, really, and then obviously down to personal preferences and how the bike fits them, etc., etc. Whereas the car world, I kind of feel like it's much easier for me to drive a car anywhere in the world, and I can give you pretty much what I'm going to say about it at home, with the exception of like advanced driver assistance systems not working on UK roads or whatever. So it's slightly easier, I think, to distinguish between them like that. But
then there's the other side of things in that people, any sort of negative comments that I get on a bike review from people that watch the vids is, you always seem to be like this is fantastic, this is amazing, this is great. And I know from chatting with lots of other bike YouTubers, Kate, Richie Vida, Lamb Chops, TMF, people like that, we all get the same sort of criticism from people. But the argument, what I was saying in return to that is, there's not really any shit bikes out there anymore. If you're getting a new bike, they're all pretty damn good. It's like, you have to be really nitpicky, nitpicky. And I try and, same as you, I try and do my reviews as a biker, as someone that is just riding a bike. So I'm stuck in traffic here in the southeast. You're going through the town. What's the clutch like? Is it overheating? All that sort of stuff. Yeah. And when I'm out riding, I'm not riding like a fuckwit. I'm trying to stick relatively to the speed limits. But what's it like getting to the speed limits, and what's it like for overtaking? And, I like what 44 Teeth do, the double decker thing. How much room's under the seat? What sort of luggage have we got? Stuff like that. You try and be realistic, don't you? But the bikes themselves are all pretty damn good these days.
Yeah. Like no one really sells a pup. And like in the car world, it's kind of almost the same, but now they are slightly getting worse, so you can pick them apart a bit more.
Why is that then?
I don't know. It's just all the advanced driver assistance systems. It's the addition of hybrid batteries, making them heavier, making the suspension work harder, so the rider's worse.
Interesting.
Like getting the latest BMW M5, and it's 750 kilos heavier than the previous one because of the hybrid system and the battery, which means it's not actually faster than the previous one, blah, 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 blah. So you can nitpick on things like that. And bikes, some of the questions I had were mostly, there were two questions saying, can you address the issue that people aren't making motorbikes for tall people anymore? And then the third question was, can you address the issue that they aren't making bikes for short people anymore? So it feels like there are, bike manufacturers, unsurprisingly, are having to make their bikes for this kind of like 90th centile or whatever in the middle of people's height ranges. Yes, if you're 6'8", you're going to struggle on most things. Yeah. Yes, if you're 5'4", you're going to struggle on most things. But those are generally the criticisms I get of people saying, well, of course you're okay on it. You're 6'3". I'm like, well, I can't chop my legs off. And like, friends of Carl Stevens, MCN, he's basically dwarven. I love him to bits. And he can ride the absolute arse off a Tenere 700 rally with like a 36-inch seat height because he's got the technique to do so. And then the other criticism that sometimes get leveled at me and was in the questions, like how bike journalists never talk about running costs. I look at cheap, this person was saying they look at cheap 1200 Multistradas. I bang on about them whenever I go to the Superbike factory because I used to have a 1200 Multistrada, loved it to bits, and it never really put a foot wrong. And it's like, but then I look at the servicing prices and
until you sold it.
Oh, right. Yeah, until I sold it. The day I sold it broke down. Genuinely did. And he's like, well, the service is 1,100 quid. I'm like, yes, but you probably know that if you're buying a Ducati, that, you know, it's going to have its belts, it's going to have its valves, and that's going to be a low four-figure service. Just have some room on a credit card at some point. But I'm not going to go into every bike review talking about servicing costs because it varies by dealer, and it's also incredibly tedious to talk about in what's meant to be a reasonably entertaining video. So,
and some people will do 1,000 miles a year. Other people will do 20, 30,000 miles a year. You know, it's just like,
and you know, I get served a lot of American motorbike content on Reddit, and that's a different world. So, like, they care about modding, they care about looks, and they service everything themselves, even when it's brand new. Because they've got the facilities to do it. It's like, oh yeah, I just bought a new Panigale V4S. I've just done its first service in my garage. I was like, what about your warranty?
Some of them will think nothing of 40, 50, 60,000 miles a year they're putting on their bikes. It's crazy. I've got a mate, he's got 250,000 miles on his bike. 250,000 miles on a motorcycle. You're
exactly.
Like, what the fuck?
I was like, you know, I've done 2,500 miles in a year on my T7. Most of it is off-road. But that'll be a week's ride in America, entirely off-road as well, through some ridiculously hard terrain. So it's like, wow, what am I going to talk about? I'll talk about what I can do and what my experience is.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I always say to people. It's just be you. Just be you. However you ride a bike, give your opinion on it, because there'll be people out there that ride the same sort of way, and that's what they'll have an affinity with, isn't it?
Exactly. I'm not going to take every bike I review on a commute into London just to show you what it's like commuting to London. Someone else can do that because you'll probably
get bike jacked.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Cheers for that, Patrick. Next one, Tim Masters. Hi, Tim. A question from another Tim. I've only started following you recently and enjoy your content, but how do you think you stay distinctive and find an audience in an increasingly crowded market of car and bike personalities, many of whom have TV history, so are better known? Do you think covering cars and bikes makes it tricky to compete with others who focus on one or the other? Not a criticism, as I like your stuff. I'm just curious on your perspective.
The simple answer is, I don't think about it and I don't care about it. I'm just putting my head down. I'm doing this for myself at the end of the day because I enjoy the creative process of making videos and trying to make myself laugh when it comes to editing it. Being distinct, I'm just myself. I try to be puerile, sarcastic, and trying to be a bit amusing, which sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. And going back to what I said earlier, in the car world, lots of people are either very worthy and serious about everything, and that puts me off massively because I don't want to watch that. So I'm just creating the content that I would want to watch, really. And like in the car world and in the bike world, I'm small fry, but I'm quite happy because I'm just chipping away, and I'm going to keep doing this because I enjoy doing it. And maybe in 10 years it will pay all the bills, and that'll be great, and I can quit my job, and that can just be me into retirement doing YouTube videos, which I'd be happy to do. But at the end of the day, I don't really think about it. If I thought about it too much, I'd just get very depressed because, you know, I'm not going on every car launch. I'm not going on every bike launch. That's how you grow your channel, really, if you're doing bike reviews, by being first to the party. I just try to offer my opinion on what they like to ride in the UK, having lived with it for a couple of weeks. That's what I can do. That's what I will do. And I've always just, from the very outset of doing YouTube, I'm a very lazy person. I wanted to make my videos something that is repeatable and easy to do. I can go out and film an entire car review in an hour and a half, filming my B-roll, my pieces to camera, my walk around, and it will take me about 2 hours. And I can edit that. I can edit that in an hour and a half. Like I don't mess about. I see people on Instagram saying, "Oh my God," sorry, I'm going to call out username Kate here. She edits like a beast and spends a lot of time editing. I don't care. I put my edit. I could literally edit a video.
Days.
Exactly.
Editing.
That's wasted time. It's like you can spend that time sleeping or playing computer games. Sorry, I'm going to wipe my nose. I don't see the added value in doing that. So I just smash it out, get the video out. If people watch it, great. But in my opinion, as we said earlier, that isn't time that you get paid for. If I added up, like Missenden Fly did a couple of years ago, you add up what you earn from YouTube versus the time you spend on it, you're below minimum wage, no matter what you
Oh,
earn.
well below it. Yeah, well below it.
So
Yeah.
that's not why I do it. I do it because I enjoy it, and I do it because it kind of keeps me in the industry, and I just enjoy having a knowledge of current cars and motorbikes. And yet at the same time, I absolutely refuse to answer any members of family or friends who ask me what car they should buy, because I know they'll fucking ignore me. So it's something, at the end of the day, car reviews especially, people watch them to validate their purchase decision that they've already made. They already know they want to buy a Vauxhall Mocha. They just want to know that it's not an absolute dog. They're going to buy the car they like the look of. That's what it comes down to. Oh, I want a car. I think I want a Mercedes. Okay, well, you're going to buy a Mercedes, even if I tell you that Skoda Superb is a much better car. So, yeah, I just refuse to offer advice anymore. Actually, no. My brother took my buying advice the other day. I was heartened. He's always had like Fiesta STs. He's had the occasional Porsche Boxster, and his car, someone went to the back of him, wrote it off. And then I took him out in an 80 grand Porsche Boxster GTS 4 litre, amazing. And he's like, I want one. I don't know if I can justify spending 80 grand on a box. I'm like, probably not. And then he went and bought a Toyota GR Yaris, which is one of my favorite cars. It's a 4-wheel drive hot hatch, 280 horsepower, and it's an absolute hoot. And I'm like, you actually bought the right car. I always worry that people will go and buy
He went from a Porsche Boxer to a Toyota Yaris.
Yeah, yes. But it's a very good Toyota Yaris. It's a 3-door body shell that was made for rally homologation. It's got a carbon fiber roof. It's got different differentials that make it skid sideways.
Amazing.
It's tiny. It's incredibly fast. And you'll see videos of people in France just going up like the Col de Glibier or something sideways using the handbrake, doing 4-wheel drifts out in the snow, living out their Colin McRae like hero era kind of thing. Yeah. So and then you do then have to tell people that you drive a Toyota Yaris, and then and do the classic. Well, actually, it's a rally homologation version. By which point they've accidentally shot themselves.
By which point they get the Porsche Boxster key out the car and out the pocket and get in the Porsche.
Yeah, exactly. Drive on.
Yeah. I'm what you said there about like people have formed their opinions before they've watched the vid and they're going to go and buy that car anyway. I am always gobsmacked by the amount of people who go and buy a motorbike after watching one of our vids. They'll watch YouTube vids and then go and buy the bike based on that vid. I'm like, no, chuck your leg over the thing. At least, if you're going to go and spend 15 grand or 20 grand on a bloody motorbike, you can go and take it for a test ride. And if they won't give you a test ride, go somewhere else. Yeah. You know what I mean? But
there's variance between the same motorbike as well. Like, that's not unheard of.
Absolutely.
Like, the amount of times I've ridden, sorry, my friend at BMW is going to be quite angry I'm saying this, but there's the amount of times that I've ridden 4-cylinder BMWs and I can't feel my hands after 5 minutes because of the handlebar vibrations. It's common in the early S1000. That's still a thing, like the S1000 XR. But then I'll ride one a year later and it's absolutely fine. But then a year later, I'll ride another one. And again, it's like, and the owner's like, why is everyone whinging about the vibrations? I haven't got any on mine. And then the next car will be like, I sold mine. I couldn't deal with the vibrations. So
I notice that a lot. BMWs really change.
Yeah.
They vary so much. I took out, excuse me, my light went out there because I forgot to plug in the power cable. So I've just redone it.
No, that's all right.
I had one of the first 1300s in the UK. And when I took it out, I had quite a lot of issues with it to begin with. Just it's the first one of the run, isn't it? So there's going to be issues. And I found it wasn't starting particularly well. Sometimes that was a starter relay issue they had. The gearbox was really clunky. The engine was really rattly.
Yeah.
But then when you start riding, you know, when my bike goes in to have some work done on it and I've given a courtesy bike, sometimes you take out another 1300 GS or the GSA when that came out and you're like, this feels like a different bike. The engine is so different. And I used to notice that on the 1250s. I've ridden loads of different 1250s compared to the sort of 4 or 5 that I'd owned. And they all were different. They were all different, every single one of them.
Yeah, well, it's like camera lenses. You get good copies and bad copies of camera lenses. Some are sharper than others, even though it's the same lens. It's like guitars. You could play 500 Stratocasters and they will each feel and sound a bit different. And bikes are no different. They're a collection of parts that have been cobbled together. And like you say,
and you get Friday afternoon ones as well, don't you? So.
Yeah, exactly. And there'll be different iterations of everything. But then you get all the people kind of whinging, oh, I'd never buy a Ducati. It's going to break down. It's like, I've owned 4 or 5, never had a problem apart from the day I sold my Multistrada 1200. And that was the problem of the guy purchasing it, who was used to riding old bikes and started it with a handful of throttle, which
with throttle on.
Confused the bejesus out of everything.
Yeah.
But yeah. Go ride bikes. Go test ride them. Ignore us YouTubers.
Exactly. Absolutely. Right.
We're all
Zog
paid
D.
shills anyway.
We're all what?
We're all paid shills to say nice things.
This is it. Yeah. We only do what they tell us.
Yeah, exactly.
Zog D. Hi, Bruce. Hello, Tim. Question to Tim and a compliment. Firstly, absolutely hooked to the war history films you do. The one over Crimbo 25 was epic. So just wondering, what ignited your interest in this? Will you continue to combine the bike vids with a bit of World War II stuff in the future? Great to say... said we got to say hi at the ABR 25, by the way, and we enjoyed your interview. That's Deb and Ian. Oh, how you doing, Deb and Ian?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Deb. I'm going to keep doing it. Absolutely. It's kind of my thing now. I don't care if no one watches them because the view numbers are never as good as the other videos, but again, don't really care. I'm doing it for myself and I enjoy it. And yeah, there's so many, I mean, I start these trips these days by looking at where the Trans-European Trail goes. And then I think, oh, that goes past the Somme, that goes past wherever. You can walk through France, you can walk through Germany and just trip over military history. So yes, I will keep doing it. I don't know what the current plan is for this year, but there will be something, and I will find war. There's a great website called Traces of War, and it's essentially a Google map of Europe with every war memorial, grave site of something horrible happening marked on it, with links to like Wikipedia and stuff. So you can basically browse that, look at somewhere in France, and you will find history and trip over it. So yeah, and sometimes I'll read a book and get inspired. Like the first one of these trips I did last May, which I spoke about at ABR Festival last year, I went down towards Poitiers off-road the day I picked up my T7 and took it straight on the ferry, because I just read a book about how the SAS helped the French resistance, and they were camped in a woods near Poitiers, and they ended up getting surrounded by the SS, and most of them were rounded up, captured and executed. So you can go to where they were executed and buried in the woods, and you can go to where the ones who survived got out on a makeshift airfield, which they just carved out overnight.
Jesus.
And all these sorts of stories. And you can go to like local, like just a French graveyard in a tiny village in the middle of nowhere, but then there's 12 or 13 Commonwealth War graves of the SAS men who were executed, and they're just in this village cemetery. So stuff like that I just find endlessly fascinating about what these guys went through. And then you read it in a book, and then you go to the places where it really happened, and it's just like, wow, kind of hits home. And these are stories that, yes, if you're a massive Second World War nerd, you might know about, but I bet most people on YouTube haven't heard of these things, and I'm finding it interesting. So here's a video. Here's an hour and a half of me heavy breathing on a Tenere 700 with some Orbit.
Yeah. I do think it's important that these stories, these people's names, they're kept alive.
Yeah.
I really do think it's important, especially like, I can only take it from my sort of son's point of view. He's 27. The current climate at the moment in the world, it's at one stage there was whispers, are they going to bring back the draft? Are we going to war? All this sort of stuff. And it was going through my son's head. My son was like, Jesus, why would I not get called up? 27-year-old fit young lad, And I think that sort of generation all of a sudden has gone, hang on a minute. I could get involved here. What is this all about? And that's almost made them then look at previous generations that have gone through stuff. There's always going to be an interest in, sadly, in war, isn't it? It's human nature to go to war and to have an interest in it.
There are so many stories of, like you say, human nature, how people behave under this insane pressure, being sent by people in higher up positions, go and kill other young men in a different country. It's never going to stop, sadly. And it's such a waste of life. But there are so many stories of human bravery and just insane things that normal people have gone and done.
Yeah.
And like you say, we shouldn't ever forget this stuff because, well, look in Ukraine, it's still happening. I know it's only
World War One shit going on over there with drones.
It's a complete fluke that I wasn't born Ukrainian when I was born, in which case I, might be fighting the Russians right now. And it's just, they say history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. And these things are cyclical, aren't they? Like, look at 1930s Germany, how that started off. Are there really echoes to that sort of fascism that we're seeing elsewhere in the world at the moment? Maybe there are.
Maybe just.
Maybe just. Yeah. So, I think this stuff's always relevant. And I think if you don't know about what's happened before, we're kind of doomed to repeat the sins of our forebears or whatever. I just think it's like people should know about this stuff. And I just find it massively interesting as well on a kind of human level. And, whether it's, Guy Gibson at the age of 24 leading the Dam Busters raid, and he's the senior guy at the age of 24.
At 24, it's crazy,
flying
isn't it?
60 feet over a dam to distract the gunners from the other attacking Lancaster. Stuff like that is like, Jesus Christ. I mean, I don't want to be one of these people that says, the current generation could never do that, because they would step up. I think
they would, I think you're right.
I'm not one of these
look
people.
Look at Afghan and Iraq. We were all saying that about youngsters back then, and 18, 19, 20-year-olds all stepped up and went over there, and, a lot of them laid their lives down.
I had friends at university who lost brothers to IEDs in Afghanistan and stuff. It's just like, I think that's almost been forgotten about, because that's 20 years ago now. So, I don't know.
That's the insane thing, isn't it? It's crazy.
It's
Crazy.
like time marches on. But we should always remember what happened before, I think. So, do it on motorbikes.
Absolutely. There's I don't know if you've ever been to Auschwitz. There's a very poignant sign at Auschwitz. And I can't remember the exact wording, but it basically says, "He who does not remember history is poised to go through it again," basically. It's basically, if you don't learn from the past, you're going to repeat. Exactly what we're doing. It's just human nature, though, isn't it? Sadly, it's just human nature.
There's another quote about, in a country where they burn books, they will eventually burn people and things like that. And like banning books and literature and stuff. It's like, the signs are all there, but
And we can see it, but it still happens. It still happens.
And it's interesting you speak about Auschwitz. I think the tour I did in 2023 on an M1000R, I ended up going to a concentration camp in the Vosges Mountains. And I text my friend at BMW. I'm like, I probably won't post this, but here's a photo of your bike in front of the concentration camp. Stop it.
That didn't even register initially. Oh,
no.
Yeah.
But like there,
I brought you home.
Yeah, I turned up. It was the only concentration camp on French soil in the Vosges Mountains. It's a beautiful hillside. And it's called Natzweiler-Struthof, where some female SOE agents, so British spies, were killed and were murdered. And I was chatting to the guy before I went in. I'm like, "Am I okay to film?" Just like, very respectfully, like educationally showing what happened. He's like, yeah. It's like, "Oh, you're British." I'm like, yeah. It's like, "Oh, wow, I should tell this story." Like, during COVID, we had this young girl who was an intern who came to like help out the groundskeeping, and she was tilling the soil in the ash pit where the crematorium, they dump the ashes for all the murdered people. So it's pretty heavy stuff. And she was like planting new flowers because they have this like floral display there. And he said every winter, I've worked here like however many years, 30 years, the ground freezes and then it thaws in spring, and that action brings stuff to the surface. So he's like, we're still finding like bits of bone will come up, buttons and things like that. And this young girl, who was only like a secondary school girl, found a British dog tag that just came up in the ground. And it was, I think it was a Lancaster crewman or a Halifax or something, an RAF crewman, who towards the end of the war just got shot down over Germany. His crew bailed out, and no one ever really knew what happened to them. And basically what they found out is that the SS who were running the camp, they ended up retreating because the Allies were advancing, and they didn't really do a good job of hiding what they'd been doing at the camp, and they didn't burn bodies properly. And now they knew that this guy had been taken with his bomber crew to this concentration camp and executed. They were just RAF people doing their job. Obviously, at that stage of the war, you get shot down and captured. there's a fair chance it wouldn't end well for you. And they then found this guy's family during COVID who had no idea what happened to him, found his existing family. And then after COVID, they went over there and had a proper like ceremony for it. So there's still stuff like history is always changing and stuff is still turning up. So that's another reason why I find it fascinating, because there's always new angles on things. And yeah, and then I had to segue from doing this walk around of a concentration camp to disappearing on an M1000R on the back wheel, which is always a hard segue to get right. But what I was, I was walking around the crematorium, like talking very quietly into a microphone, and there was a big school group, French school group there, like chatting away. And this American woman came up to me in the crematoria against the background noise of this school trip. She's like, "Are you filming? I find that very disrespectful." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm sorry you feel that way, but I don't. I'm not really, I'm not really chatting loudly or anything. I'm just showing people." She's like, "No, I find it very disrespectful. I find it disgusting what you're doing." I'm
okay, like, you find it disgusting. Never mind.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm like, "I'm sorry you feel that way." And she's like, "You're making a video for YouTube?" I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "What kind of video?" I'm like, "Well, like an educational video about this place." She's like, "Oh, I suppose if it's education, that's all right." And then she walked off, and I'm like, "Oh my God, they're everywhere."
It's the whole problem, isn't it? Everyone's entitled to opinion, but just no.
No, 100%. I understand. And I really intensely disliked confrontation and conflicts. That raised my hackles a bit. But But anyway,
I quite like it, to be honest.
I don't deal very well with it. Yes, sorry. Yeah. Great bike.
Yeah. My tolerance levels seem to have disappeared now. 20 years in the old bill. Yeah, I'm just not tolerant anymore. Yeah. You're a dick. Shut up. That's it. Job done. Right, next one. This is last one from the clan. This is Andy. Evening, gents. Just a couple of questions, if I may. Tim, with your experience on Drive Tribe and your own channel, how have you had to adapt to the change? Okay, so moving from Drive Tribe to doing your own thing on YouTube.
Yeah, I was at Drive Tribe when I started my channel, so they were concurrent. So I only presented a couple of videos for the Drive Tribe channel, which was a mammoth thing. So that was all professionally shot. I did a video or two like James May and stuff, and it was kind of the start of my presenting career as it was. And then, just working out, I just took loads of tips from that basically, stole ideas about how to film, how to run sound, how to edit, etc., etc. So they taught me, well, like I said earlier, watching James May and everything basically taught me everything I needed to kind of get me out doing it. And then it was just a case of really refining my videos, my car review videos, to be quicker to shoot, easier to edit, and also showing the stuff that actually matters and not wanging on for hours about, "Oh, this is how the car looks." Because you'll see journalists do this. They're like, "Here's a 5-minute segment of the video about the looks of the car." It's a video. You can see how the car looks. You will have your own opinions on it. Like, I don't get on a bike and be like, "Oh, look at the bike. You see it's got this curve here." And also, I've said this before, I've got this weird aesthetic blindness. I don't care what something looks like. I care how it rides. I used to own an MT10, case in point. Everyone says it's the ugliest bike in the world. I occasionally have a hankering for a first-gen Ducati Multistrada 1000 DS, which was the ugliest bike of all time. I like the Ducati 999. I always have done. I don't really care what things look like. I'm not going to talk about looks. And then you're the first.
How does it make you feel?
Yeah, exactly. How does it make you feel? It's a motorbike. It's meant to make you happy. There's a lot of this on the American Reddit as well. It's like, "Oh, I'm never going to buy that bike. I really love the way it rode, but I just look at it. I'm like, give a shit. Like, you don't have to own it forever. It's not, it's not necessarily an extension of your personality or your taste and everything. You like the way it rides. I really want a Ducati Diavel V4. I don't really like the way the exhaust looks. I'm not going to be losing sleep over that if I bought one, because it's just a hilarious bike. You own a GS.
Well, I do, Reddit. You talked about Reddit. You've mentioned Reddit a few times. I don't know how you. I just can't. I can't exist on Reddit. I was on there when I first started the channel, or trying to get the channel up and running after the world trip. Yeah. Yes, I have. I tried to be on it, and it's just full of. To me, it just feels like it's full of those people that sit in their mum's basement and just mouth off at people online. I couldn't exist in that
I
place.
use Reddit massive. I use Reddit all the time. I don't really post on there, and I don't really consume much car or motorbike stuff on there. But it's kind of sort of where I get lots of news about all my different hobbies and interests, and funny stuff. So, yeah, it used to be called the front page of the internet, and I never really understood it until I went on Reddit. And you start following a few things, like Casual UK is a good subreddit because it's anything to do with the UK that isn't political and is usually very British, and like people having massive dramas over not finding like yellow labeled things in Waitrose and things like that. It's just like, it's British humor, and it's moderated in such a way that it never gets serious or political. And it's just like British people taking the piss out of themselves, which I think is what we do best. It's there's been another massive failure, go us, that sort of thing. So I don't use it.
Are we shit?
Exactly. It is literally, aren't we shit? We revel in being a bit shit. So I mostly use it for that, to be honest. I don't use it for like promoting myself or what I do occasionally, because, you know, it's always full of people who know better than you as well. So I just tend to ignore the side of it and just like,
absolutely.
I'm just going to consume photography and stuff through Reddit. Yeah. Sorry, what was
second question.
Yes.
I hope you had to adapt basically from moving Drive Tribe to your own channel, but yeah, you covered it. You covered it.
No, not
question.
Not much.
Is the first vid? Second question is, the first vid I saw of yours was the Harley live wire, and my favourite bit was the pork pie. So with that in mind, would you be interested in asking Bruce about a collaboration on the best pork pies in England?
Wow.
See, Lamb Chops and I used to do the Big Hunt series.
You did?
Where we'd take bikes, and then we'd do like a bike review, but we'd go to a different part of the country. We went to Cork, like the southwest, to do Cornish pasties, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But Chops is just so busy all the time that we've never really done it anymore. He's a busy man, he is, when he's not falling off triumphs. He spannered himself on
road surfing. That video,
he was lucky on that.
That was the first video I ever did Drive Tribe. It was a paid collaboration with Apple when The Long Way Up came out. The kind of where you and Charlie did it on sort of bastardized Harley live wires up through America. And the first 4 episodes about like, how do we charge our bikes? And then they quickly dropped that. So I borrowed Livewire from Harley, and I just want to see how far you could get from the south to the north of England in a day. But basically, I thought that's boring. So along the way, I want to eat some food. So I stopped at Melton Mowbray to eat pork pie in the high street, Bakewell, and a couple of other places. And I like pork pies, but I have to eat them with salad cream. It's just a thing. I love a pork pie which is salad cream, but I'm not alone. James May does this, and another guy who I'm friends with, I was talking to him about this the other day. He used to be the head of Team GB's strength for the rowing team. So he's like proper like nutritionist, strength, muscles, and he's like, yeah, pork pies with salad cream, definitely. But the thing is, I think of a pork pie, the more serious a pork pie gets, the more authentic a pork pie gets, the worse it gets, because you end up with all like more and more of that weird jelly stuff around it, which is frankly revolting. It's like I'm not averse to picking the pork out, peeling away the jelly, and putting the pork back in. I know you have to have that to make them. But yes, thank you. I've forgotten your question. I do like pork pies.
A collaboration on best pork pies in England.
Yes. Again, this is.
Do I look like I'm adverse to a pork pie, Andy?
Maybe not, if you don't mind me saying so. But I also, this is the other thing, I don't want to sound like, I'm so busy. I just don't have any free time. I don't ride at weekends because weekends are kind of sacred. Oh yeah, family time. And I that's not me saying, I wish I was out on my bike. I love hanging out with my girls. But also, if you go out riding around where I live in the summer, like you see the worst of the motorcycling denizens. I live near Rikers, I live near Box Hill, and I love the noise of the bikes going past, but certainly they've now put average speed cameras on all the roads, and I will see people in slow boys hoodies doing wheelies in 30 minutes outside schools. That is, for me, I'm not part of that world of motorbiking, and I don't want to be, and I find that is probably who gives us all a bad name. So I tend to go out during the week and lunch hours and things like that. So when people say, oh, do you want to come do this, come ride with me? I can't really. And then my evenings are spent editing, filming, parenting, doing a day job. So the older I've got, the more I've realized actually I don't necessarily want loads more money in my life. I just want loads more time to do things. And that's the classic cliche, isn't it? That's the one thing that you can't get back, that you can't buy more of, and that you will always want more of, is time. If I had all the time in the world, I would be disappearing off around the world, doing a round the world trip, which I would love to do. But
then you'll still run out of time because you fill the time that you've got with what you can do.
Exactly.
So you will always be short of time until you've run out of the other things that you want to do.
Yeah, and you just have to be very selective with what you do with your time. It's like I will have people email me and say, "Do you want to come and ride this electric motorbike, whatever?" I'm like, not really. I'd rather use that time to do something else. Not that I don't like the electric motorbike or whatever, but it's not my jam. And people will say like, "Oh, you've not had it, any Suzukis on your channel for years." I'm like, that's because I have to go and fetch them from Milton Keynes, and that's a fag, and I can't find the time to go and do that. So whatevs, you might not see a whatever 800cc parallel twin thing Suzuki have brought out this month. I would love to review every motorbike under the sun, but I don't have time. And essentially my editorial policy, if we're being all journalistic about it, is I do the stuff I like. I ride the bike. I ride the bikes I would think of buying and that I think I will like, which, isn't very MCN, where I will review everything, including every 300cc scooter under the sun. I've only just reviewed my first sub 400cc bike on the channel because I'll be honest, small capacity bikes don't really tickle my pickle. I like slightly sillier things that I might buy, but it is eye-opening.
I was like that until I was contacted by Sinis about 6-7 years ago. Yeah, when they first came into the UK and they approached, and I was like, 125. I was like, I'm almost 21 stone. What are you talking about? Yeah. And I took one out. I had a fucking hoot. Yeah. And I love riding 125s.
Yeah,
and
it's like,
I've got something lined up actually, hopefully for soon, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah,
really
I had a couple of Sinuses. Like Sinus have gone from the UK market now, I think.
Yeah.
They were down in Brighton, and I had a couple of their 125s, their adventure bike, and also one of their kind of more knobbly enduro type bikes. And it just got me out into the green lanes that I'd be way too scared to take anything bigger on. And it was so much fun. And I remember their PR lady, it was called Kelly Wong. And she just would email you, say, "Do you want some bikes?" And I look at her now and she's just an insanely successful TikTok influencer.
Yeah, she left that and moved into that world, and she was doing like travel and food and all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
And again, this kind of goes back to what I was telling all these young kids at my old school. It's like, I know people that are making an absolute killing on TikTok. So it might not last forever, but if you want to have a job that you enjoy, don't dismiss that. Yes,
and don't move into the bike world if you want to make money, because I do not understand how everyone tells me, "Oh, you're on YouTube, you must be minted." I'm like, no. On a good month, I might make 600-700 quid. It's like I make fucking nothing on YouTube. It's everything else where I make my money, but YouTube, I'm like, how are all these influencers making money? I don't understand.
No,
like TikTok,
I think the money,
it's all brand deals.
It's all brand deals, all sponsorships, and then I've got a car channel and a bike channel, and they essentially hedge against each other. During winter, the bike channel dies on its ass for obvious reasons, and then in the summer, the car channel gets a bit quiet. So they're always kind of balancing out against each other in terms of views and revenue and all the rest of it. But yeah, I mean, you need to go take a load of money from a bike manufacturer or something to review their bike.
I might move into a different niche.
That's it.
Last one from Andy. Finally, one for Bruce. If you were about to start your first tour in the Southern Hemisphere, what advice would you give to get over jet lag? Andy's coming. We're going to Australia in a couple of weeks.
Oh, amazing.
The first sort of international chicken strips tour. So Andy's coming on that one. Yeah, jet lag. I'm not even worrying about the jet lag until if it happens. I don't think it will happen going. I think it's coming back.
It's coming back.
Because I'll just sleep on the plane
and then just stay awake for as long as possible to get back onto a normal routine, I think.
Yeah. Just get pissed first night. Job done.
You're going to do loads of like serious off-roading, Adam Riemann style across the centre of Australia.
All road. No, our chicken strip tours are all tarmac. It's all road riding. So it's just road riding through sort of southern.
Can you imagine the logistical and insurance nightmare of leading off-road tours? I know people do it, But I always just think, like, the potential for calamity, broken bones, litigation, and all the rest of it is just so ginormous that it's surely not worth doing.
There's no legislation around motorcycle tours anyway. Certainly, like UK-based ones. We've got public liability insurance, but I mean that's in case the worst happens. But generally, that's not our responsibility. But it's a very weird field, or grey field, tours, because you're an organised ride, and certain parts of, I think, I don't think it's in law in the UK, but it's almost implied that if a group is out riding, whoever organised that ride and is leading that ride has a responsibility.
Right.
But how much can you be held liable for other people's actions?
Exactly.
For us, we have our terms and conditions, our booking form, and we'll do a safety briefing at the start of the tour to say, don't ride like a dick. It's down to you. We all want to get home. Sadly, we've had an issue in the past where someone lost their life. So it's like, right, we don't want to repeat that. We all want to get to the bar every night, and we all want to get home at the end of the tour. So don't ride like a dick. If you do, you're out.
Yeah.
What more can we do? You can't.
That's it. Like, they're grown-ups. They've got to be responsible for themselves. And, hopefully
and if you crash,
insured.
It's down to you. It's down to your insurance. So, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, it's a difficult one. It's a real difficult one. That.
Yeah. Do you find that with your chicken strips business that has taken any joy out of touring? Or is it just giving you more excuses to go and do the thing you love?
I still really enjoy. I love being away on a bike. I love going away. Like we only go to the best roads that are available wherever it is that we're going. So you're riding the best riding roads that you can do there, and some of the best riding roads in the world in places. And then now, after doing this for quite a few years, we have a lot of repeat customers. So a lot of the time, these people become friends. So I'm still out riding with my mates a lot of the time. And then the new people, I really enjoy introducing people to this world. Yeah. There's a lot of people who've never toured before. There's a lot of people who've never ridden their bike outside of the UK before. So they come away and ride, and like, you can see they're absolutely blown away by, oh my God, this is fantastic. That's awesome to be part of that.
Yeah,
but I do miss riding myself. I haven't ridden myself in a long, long time.
Nor have I.
And I miss that.
I've not ridden without a camera rolling for 5 years. Yeah. And occasionally I will find myself riding where I'm not recording for a bit. And I'm like, I'm going to ride how I used to ride. And I'm like, how do I get away with that? Because it's like, I can't get above 60. And it's just like, without fear of the YouTube police gods coming down on me. So I find myself riding very differently these days to how I used to ride, which has probably been good for my longevity, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
But everyone, I always say there are so many different flavors of motorbiking, whether it's on-road, off-road, trials riding, enduro, track riding. They're all amazing flavors of the same thing. But the one that I just love is touring. Like when I grew up touring on my Daytona 675 with a tent on the back and all this kind of stuff. There's just something magic about exploring like Europe or wherever and being able to park up in the city on the pavement, wherever, not fussing about it. Smelling everywhere you're riding, stopping off wherever. It's just, I couldn't imagine doing it in a car. I've got friends who go around Europe in like very high-end like Porsche kind of GT4 RSs and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's cool, but you're still going to be stuck behind a caravan that you can't see past. You're still going to be like limited by visibility. You're still not going to be leaning over into corners. And I don't know. There's something really magical about getting to the top of an Alp, looking at your bike and thinking, that was outside my house 2 days ago, and I've got it here myself.
Yes.
And I just find that really magical. I can't wait to get back out on a road bike and do some big miles and do that stuff. And I'd recommend it to everyone. Look, even if you just started riding, get a Eurotunnel ticket. Because that moment when you get off the Eurotunnel or the ferry or whatever, and you've just got something set in your sat-nav that's 500 miles away or something, even if it's a long motorway day, it's just, there's something about that moment that is like, oh my God.
It feels like freedom, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it does. Feels like freedom, escapism.
And if you're a new rider, you will learn more about riding in that week or 2 weeks of constant twisty roads. That'll do more for your riding than 5 years of doddering about in the UK. In terms of enhancing your skills, your cornering confidence, yada, yada, yada. There's just no downside apart from occasionally rains, but then just don't faff about. Just buy some laminated Gore-Tex stuff, put it on a credit card and be happy. Because there's
definitely invest in gear.
Yeah,
Definitely
there's nothing more
invest in
miserable
gear.
than being like, well, it says it's own brand waterproofness. I'm like, it's not waterproof. Like,
Yeah.
You'll find out when you're riding near Munich for 8 hours in the pissing rain that something, unless it says Gore-Tex, it really isn't waterproof. And even then, sometimes it's not.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. Buy the best kit you possibly can, for sure.
The choir.
Well, once you've realised that and you've invested in kit and you've got kit that actually does the job, and you can be out riding all day in torrential rain and it does the job, you're like, fucking hell, why didn't I do this years ago?
And riding in the rain is still a fun ride. You can still have fun on a twisty road in the rain. You're not going as fast. Yes, you're looking out for manhole covers with an eagle eye, but it's like you will still get to the end of it and be like, that was still fun. Actually, when you're sitting in your house and it's raining outside, you're probably not going to go for a ride. But if you did, you'll probably still have fun. You
can still have a giggle. You're still out on your bike, aren't you?
Yeah.
Right, that's all the Patreon questions. I think there's 2, maybe 3 left across Facebook and Instagram. Have you got time for them?
I do. I'm just going to mute my microphone so I can blow my nose. I've suddenly come down with the mother of all
Feel free.
colds this morning. Don't have children.
Stand by. Don't have children. Too late for me, mate. I think I'm waiting to become a granddad.
Oh God, that's a terrifying thought. But then that's the fun bit where you can just give the baby back after an hour. Like,
we'll see. We'll see what happens.
And you get the appreciation.
He's not there yet, but yeah. Right, okay. We'll move across to Facebook now. So first question here is from Paul Simpson. Question: pies or cake on a ride out? Asking for group. Asking for a group, the North of England Adventure Bike Riders. Right, and that's to both of us. So Paul is from this group, North of England Adventure Bike Riders. Pies or cake on a ride out?
Oh, cake.
Yeah, I'm a cake man.
Yeah, I'm a cake man. I have a slightly autistic obsession with many varied hobbies, which all cost lots of money: guitars, photography, computer games, motorbikes, cars, and also baking. So I love baking.
Really?
Yeah, I do all the cooking.
Do you have a baking channel, Tim?
I don't. I've thought about it. No, I love food. Like I'm not a food snob. I like McDonald's. I like KFC. I like Michelin star stuff. I like food too much. But no, I do all the cooking in my house pretty much, and I love baking as well. So there we go. I once managed to get a tweet from Paul Hollywood about 10 years ago because I made iced finger buns, like the ones you used to get in the school canteen, from his recipe, and I tweeted at him saying, "Look, I made these from your recipe. P.S. Can I have a go on your Kawasaki H2R?" And he replied,
I was going to say he's a biker.
Yeah, and he replied with, "Nice job," and no. But yes, I seem to remember there's a photo of Mary Berry sitting on his 1299 Panigale or something out there on the internet.
She's a game girl, isn't she, Mary Berry?
I think she is.
Nice one.
Cake all the way. I do like a pie, but I've got such a sweet tooth. That's my downfall. I go to the gym 3 days a week. I run as much as I can in the gym. I do rowing like you do. The weight never shifts, but I think it just enables my lifestyle.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a fat bloke. God knows what I'd be like otherwise. Because I'm the same. Sweet chocolate. Yeah. I'm terrible for chocolate.
Yeah,
I can't. My wife could. Like, say if we bought a Toblerone, you buy those when you get to the airport. Right? You always end up buying 3, don't you? Because yeah. Oh yeah, she can have like one segment an evening. No, I'll demolish the whole lot.
I'll end up with like a pile of foil on the floor around my chair, like peeling the foil off it. Yeah, no, it's an interesting one, isn't it? It's like, certainly when I got into like off-roading last year, which was like a big shift in my riding at the start of last year, I spent last winter deciding that I wanted to try doing green laning and off-road touring. I just got obsessed with Adam Riemann. As I think everyone at ABR Festival will know, I did a really bad Adam Riemann impression, and then I did it to his face, ABR, which wasn't possibly my finest hour.
I didn't do ABR this year.
It's just like a lazy Australian accent where you say weird things like, "You've got to let the big girl eat," which means you've got to accelerate, and things like that. And his videos are legendary. He takes himself very seriously, and it's very entertaining as a British person watching that. But he just does these epic adventures, and he can ride and properly ride. And he's just done a series he bought an old 1150 GSA, and he's just taking big bikes off road with mad skills. He's a great cinematographer. He's a filmmaker. He's kind of comes from a filmmaking background. And I just kind of watched all his videos, and that's like, yeah, okay, I kind of want to do some actually get half decent off-road and buy an off-road bike. And that's what got me into it last year. And then what happened? It was October 24. I got an email from ABR Festival. I'd never been. And they emailed me saying, oh, do you want to come and speak at ABR Festival next year? I'm like, I've got an MT10. I've never ridden off-road really in my life. Okay. So I said yes. And then over Christmas panicked and then went down this adventure biking wormhole. I'm like, oh God, let's do this. Let's sell the road bike and buy something home, put knobblies on and do some off-road tours and stuff. And then it turns out it's like starting riding from scratch again, but it's got all the rewards and the risk of doing that. So it's like, I don't actually know how to turn a corner very well off-road, and I still don't. But it's like, I'll have fun trying, and then going down these green lanes in the middle of France and through rivers and stuff and falling off, and it's epic. But my point to that was getting fit slightly fitter has made a big difference in how much I enjoy that, because previously within 5 minutes of riding off-road, even down a straight trail, I'd be so tense. I'd just like...
it's hard work, isn't it? Your legs are on fire.
Yeah, and then it was just, I went to Yamaha off-road school last year, and they taught me body position, and within the first half an hour, I'd had my body position tweaked, and I was like, oh, I can actually do this all day now. And I was still like on my tours around France, I'll look at my Apple Watch, and by like 2 in the afternoon, I burnt 2,000 calories. And I'm like, I think this is the only motorbike tour that I'm going to come back from a bit lighter than I went on.
Where's that cake?
Exactly.
Off
and
to
then
the
like
boulangerie.
last summer, Adam Riemann put out a video saying that, you know, if you don't work on your fitness and if you're not lithe and skinny, you basically might as well not bother. And I thought it was quite gatekeepy and negative. I didn't agree with that. I put out kind of a video rebutting that, because I think
was that a post to attract engagement?
Well, almost certainly, 100%. Yeah, 100% it was. But it was just like, you know, don't listen to that. Just go out, give it a go. You don't have to be going at 10,000 miles an hour through a puddle to enjoy it. Just have a wobble around, and you'll learn a load about bike control and not be so scared of it sliding around if it does it on the road and things like that. I hate
this bollocks attitude some people within biking have of, you know, you can't do that on that bike. That bike won't do this. That bike won't do that. I'm like, fuck off. Any bike will do anything. Any bike will go anywhere. Yeah. Not any rider will. You know, it might not be as comfortable, might not be as practical, might not be as fast, might not be as great handling, but any bike will do anything.
Yeah. Just do the things on the bike you have. Buy the bike you want. When I found out I was having my first child, I thought I'm not going to be able to do a tour for years, which turned out to not be true because my other half is very understanding. But I bought a Ducati 1198S and toured to Berlin and back on that. And that does 80 miles to the fuel light. And that was phenomenal. It was so much fun through the Harz Mountain. But yeah, there is quite a lot of gatekeeping and weirdness. And I think I'm guilty of it as well. Over winter, you're just looking at every motorbike video review on the internet thinking, what am I going to buy next year? What am I going to do? Usually the correct answer is keep what you've got and learn to ride it better.
Yeah.
I was on Reddit yesterday, and there's Americans like, oh, I've just bought a Panigale V2. Do you think it's going to be any good on track? Do you think I could take it on a track day? And everyone's just like, you bought a sports bike, darling. You can take that on track. You'll find out.
I mean,
you could take a GS on track day and have an absolutely wild time. It's
awesome fun.
Exactly.
Awesome fun.
All the fastest people I know have got CB500 track bikes that cost 400 quid, and they have outrageous amounts of fun on them. So, yeah.
Right, that's Facebook questions. We've got a couple left on Instagram, and my back teeth are starting to float, so we will get through these. Geek and Cycle. Excellent guest. You make content for a living. While I am incredibly appreciative of both your bike and car content on your personal channels, what makes you want to do both?
Because I would get bored or ruin one of them if I only did it. If I only did cars, I would absolutely hate cars. If I only did bikes, I would end up bikes. I would say I don't do it for, well, I do it for a living. I have a day job that pays the bills. That day job is car journalism and is making car videos for Motorpoint. I wouldn't be doing my own YouTube channels purely without a job. I wouldn't be able to, I could probably make it work, but I wouldn't be able to afford those delicious steaks from the butchers and like all the cake.
Shop at Waitrose and M&S.
As wild as it sounds, be like, oh yeah, I'm just a content creator. I do my thing. It's like, no, I'm firmly a PAYE bitch on a salary as well. So I think there's credit to doing that. I've just got myself into an industry where I essentially do the things I enjoy, and I'm very fortunate to do that.
Yeah.
Even if one of those is salaried. So yeah, I can't remember what the question was, but yes.
Yeah, why do both?
Why do both? Yeah, I enjoy both, and I used to think at some point I would knock one of them on the head and focus entirely on cars and entirely on bikes, but I don't want to. Each of them plays off against the other, and you know, if I've got a week of really boring cars, I can go out for a ride on a motorbike. If I've got no bikes booked in for a couple of weeks, I'll have cars to keep me busy. I try and upload 3 videos a week, 1 bike one and 2 car ones. Sometimes that doesn't happen. I don't lose any sleep over it. Like if I was full-time YouTube, I'd be like, I've missed a weekly upload. Oh my God, the algorithm's going to kill me. I don't care. Life is too short to worry about algorithms.
I'm amazed you have the time to... having said that, because in my head, I only create 1 vid a week. For you know, I'll do a podcast and I'll do my bike thing. But then I actually kick out 6 or 7 shorts for each of those vids. So I suppose you're doing 15, 16 videos effectively a week when you think about it.
Yeah, I don't do shorts religiously. I do shorts very sporadically as and when I remember to do them, which is maybe once a month. So I like the shorts. I like the instant hit of, oh my God, this has got 100,000 views. I don't necessarily see any great benefits.
I think I get about 2.
Yeah, well, that's it. Some of them bomb. And then it's like everything. The thing you put the most effort into will bomb. And the thing you chuck out will do really well. But with shorts, I like it. I know those people are out there consuming short form vertical content. It doesn't make any money. And I don't really see it growing my subscribers or anything and vanity metrics. I
notice it now. Notice it now.
Yeah.
Now I'm doing a lot more shorts.
Scale,
it's not, it doesn't generate any money, but I use shorts as the marketing vehicle for the main channel for the long form content. And that's purely because it's talked about a lot now. The YouTube homepage has totally changed. It used to be just banks of long form videos. That's all it was. And then 1 little row of shorts when they came out. And then long form. It's totally the other way now. You get 3 videos across the top, and then it's all shorts, couple of layers of shorts, and then some other long form stuff. I've noticed now over the last month or 2 of doing a lot of shorts, particularly on the podcast channel. Now that's back. The vast majority of my views are coming from shorts. So even onto the long form content, they're discovering the channel through shorts. Yeah. So
what you want me to do now is say some really short, snippety, outrageous things to use in the shorts, like, oh my God, when he came out of the bush with a pigeon hanging out of his ass and his Ducati was on fire upside down. He hit a Ferrari, and then the Pope came around the corner with an Uzi and mowed the whole lot down. And that was my adventure. There we go.
There you go.
Have that one.
Check out the long form vid. Hashtag subscribe.
Yeah. Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, that's the one. Right, last question, mate. Last question, because I'm going to wet myself. Real Schwerte. Evening, gents. Question for both. Do you ever feel the need to follow a trend in making YouTube videos? It used to be that a video can be as long as necessary. Then videos couldn't be more than 5 minutes. Now it's maybe 15 minutes or shorts. How do you decide which trend to follow, or do you just do your own thing? And the videos are always the length you feel like they need to be.
Yeah. Well, good question. The latter. As I've said several times, I don't really play the YouTube game very well, which is why my channel's pretty quite small. But I've never tried to do long videos because I come from a background in journalism where you have to respect the audience's time. And I feel like there are people out there putting out videos that could literally be half the length with less waffle, less self-indulgent nattering. And like, I subscribe to a kind of the belief that shorter is usually better, being as concise as possible. So yeah, I try to do my videos as short as I can, cut out any bits that I might find funny, but the audience might not. And I don't follow any YouTube trends. As you said, as I've just said, I don't really do shorts. I should be doing shorts. I've never chased length, view time, watch time, any of that stuff. I just don't care enough. I probably should, but I'm not taking this seriously. Obviously, life is too short to take everything seriously. But if you're trying to appease the YouTube gods to make a living, then yeah, all power to you. Like, hunt that algorithm down. But I'm too old and boring to do that, frankly.
And it changes all the time.
Yeah.
Like I don't do the trend thing. I don't do bike launches and all that malarkey. Yeah. But I have experimented with slightly different editing styles, certainly length of vid as well. I kind of, because mine were getting really quite long, over half hour sometimes, most vids. So I tried to bring that down to say 20, 25, and then try and get it sub 20, 15 minutes, a couple sub 15, just to see. And although I think the shorter videos tend to appeal to new visitors more, your core audience, like all I get, if I ever do a short vid, is people going, oh, it was good, but I want more, I could watch 2 of them because they're used to the longer content. Yeah. And I very much, I think I'm just coming back to, fuck it, I always make what I want to make anyway, and I'm just going to, the video will be as long as I think it needs to be to tell the story I want to tell.
Yeah. So the only thing I did try is over Christmas with my kind of First World War off-road video through the Somme. I did actually ask, like, should I do this episodically, like a couple of half-hour episodes, or should I just try putting it out as one? And most people in the comments like, try putting it out as one. I'm like, sod it, I'm not precious about this. So I put it out as one, an hour and 3/4 of heavy breathing. And to be fair, I was doing it over Christmas, so I thought people can dip in and out of this, and they did. It didn't do like amazing view numbers, but watch time was good. And I quite like that I've got this like feature length thing, but I think the next one I will do episodically, just so people have got like a weekly thing to look forward to and come back for. But as you just, everyone's winging it. That's what I said, actually. Maybe that's a good point to end on. Like, philosophically, when I was talking to these kids at my secondary school, I was saying every adult you see in life, no matter what position they're in, whether they're the CEO, whether they're a manager, whether they're working a garden center, everyone is winging it. Absolutely everyone is winging it. I've met some incredibly senior businessmen, some incredibly successful people, politicians in the military, whatever. Everyone has got this mask on of an adult, and they are winging it based on their experience, and you get better at winging it as you get more experience, but no one really knows what they're doing. Everyone's kind of chancing it and seeing what works, and that is life. Don't look at these people and be intimidated and think, oh my God, what special thing have they got? No, they're just winging it. You can wing it as well. And I think that's how lots of successful people end up in the jobs they're doing, because they've just blagged it. I faked it till they made it. So it wasn't very profound. Clip it. That's a clip. Top man. Never a truer word said. Dude, that is all the questions, and it's almost a 3-hour. It is. I've got 2 hours to go and film a car review before I have to pick my kids up, which is more than enough time. Right. No. It's all right. No. As I said, I can do it in an hour and a quarter or an hour and a half. That's fine. What about the car review? Hey! Is there anything else you'd like to cover before we terminate? I don't think so. I'm duty bound to say I'm going to be at ABR Festival again this year, giving a talk about probably the war. Can't get rid of me. I'm going to be hosting... During the war? Don't mention the war. Anyone here from Germany? No, and I'm going to be hosting a couple of talks there as well. And I went last year for the first time. And even if you're not a massive adventure bike nerd, just go, because it's great food, great people, and just a really great vibe. And I didn't think it'd be my bag at all. And it turns out, everyone there is lovely. Like, as I said earlier, I don't really hang around with the biker cafe, tattooed faces, one-piece leathers crowd. But ABR Festival, it was my kind of people. Probably it's just a bike festival. It's not an off-road like trail riding thing. It's not that. It's just a bike really festival. Nice vibe, summer social vibe. So that's all I'd say. Best one in the UK by far. Yeah, well, that I've been to anyway. Yeah. So and like, comment, subscribe, and all that nonsense.
Where do people go if they want to find out more about your channels?
Tim Rodie Rides Motorbikes on YouTube, or Tim Rodie Drive Stuff if you're into cars, and then just at Tim Rodie on Instagram and TikTok. I'd given up Twitter because, you know why.
Links down below.
Cool. Thank you for having me.
Mate, pleasure. Thank you very much for coming on and giving up almost 3 hours of your day to me. Much appreciated.
Absolutely fine. Anytime.
And maybe we'll go for a pork pie one day. Who knows? We'll see.
Yes, I would love that. And I want to go on your Rorty GS as well.
Oh, I say. You're welcome. You're more than welcome to take that for a spin.
Awesome.
All right, bud, thank you very much for coming on. Folks, hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, please tell your mates about it, share it, like it, subscribe, all that jazz. You know the score. It really does help to do that. Keep doing your thing. Look after those that you love. Get on out there whenever you can. But most importantly, live your life. Woo-ha!